Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So shall we begin? Yes or no? I think most of have already joined and others will join by the time whenever we go through the introduction of the practical to be discussed. Okay, so let's begin. Okay, so practical to be discussed is from paper 3, differentiation of homo and heterolactic fermentation. Okay, so the bacteria, or we can say the bacteria which are we are supposed to study in this particular practical. So I'm just going towards basic introduction of the lactic acid bacteria first, the main bacteria that we are supposed to study right now. Okay, so I'm expecting definition, whatever you know about the lactic acid bacteria. So yes, any one of you, what is mean by, or we can say define lactic acid bacteria, which are commonly abbreviated as a LAB. Okay, yes.
Sir, the organisms which are like capable of producing the lactic acid.
Okay. Sorry, Sachin sir, did you started the recording?
Recording is already on.
Okay, okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you. Oh, yes. Can you just repeat your definition, please, once again?
Like those are capable of producing lactic acid, like through fermentation in various food like milk and all.
Okay. Yes. If anyone else is also trying to define the term lactic acid bacteria, then they can go ahead. Yes, please. I will just make one stipulation over here. I am expecting one definition that is, we can say, elaborative and actually defining the all basic types of property which are belonging to the lactic acid bacteria. Okay, so whatever you have said, that is correct. As a basic part, these are supposed to produce one of the major end product, that is the lactic acid. Okay, from sugar molecules like glucose and lactose. Okay, or fructose also. So that can be something as a basic feature of lactic acid bacteria, but I am expecting something as a more elaborative, including some of the terms or features which are specific, or we can say something as a defining the main properties of a lactic acid bacteria. So yes, anyone else want to try for a definition?
So criteria means, are you asking like gram positivities like that?
Yes, so we can, okay, just a minute. So something like this. Okay, obviously I was not expecting the complete features, or we can say all set of features, but I was expecting that we are supposed to at least go into some of the basic features, like these are fastidious, obviously these are acid tolerant and strictly fermentative, something like that. Okay, so some of these features are so much we can say exclusively related with these lactic acid bacteria only, and because of which these wide variety of bacteria can be grouped together in this something diverse group, that is the lactic acid bacteria. Because simply saying, lactic acid bacteria is a group consisting of a highly diverse type of bacteria, but because of some of the common features, something which are mentioned over here, these are grouped together and commonly called as a lactic acid bacteria. Otherwise, as far as the genera are concerned, obviously genera can be near about more than 20 also. There are, I think, more than 20 genera which are known belonging to the lactic acid bacteria. And though these are 20 different genera, then also these are commonly grouped in a single cluster because of some of their common properties. And these are properties something like this, which are mentioned in this particular definition. So whatever you have answered, that is correct. I was just expecting a little bit more so that we can actually make compilation of these common features, because of which these are grouped together in a single cluster called as a lactic acid bacteria. Okay, so whatever you have answered, that is correct. Don't worry about it. Okay, so I've just put down one definition by compiling some of the features which are commonly related with the lactic acid bacteria. So lactic acid bacteria is a diverse group which are nothing but the non-spore forming, gram positive, catalyzed negative, anaerobic or aerotolerant or microaerophilic, fastidious, acid tolerant, strictly fermentative bacteria with lactic acid as a major end product during their sugar fermentation, mainly from the fermentation of glucose, lactose, and the fructose. Okay, so this can be as one of the definition, which is simply saying about which is simply telling us about the basic features of the lactic acid bacteria. I have just put down the stark mark somewhere because nowadays I think there is one genus has been discovered which is belonging to the lactic acid bacteria group because of some of the common features, but which is also able to produce the spores, okay, which is called as a sporolactobacillus. So sporolactobacillus is a recently discovered genus of a lactic acid bacteria which is capable of producing the spores, which is something unlikely to the major members of the lactic acid bacteria, okay, and that's why I have put the star mark over here. And another star mark is here because some of the bacteria which are we can say not that much fermentative, but I think I don't remember the genus name right now, but I think that is having the capability to also carry out the non-fermentative metabolism. So right now I do not remember that name. I will be searching and you can search it from your end. Okay. So these are the some of the exceptions, because obviously there is a chance of there is a high chance of exceptions, because this group is something as a diverse group and consisting of so many different genera, and that's why there is a chance that any one or two genera are supposed to have the something property different from the other members. Okay, that can be common because there is a high list for the, or we can say the long list of the members. Okay, gram positive, this is also obviously one of the common feature. Catalase negative, obviously this can be also as an exception, because in a catalase biochemical test we have discussed that lactobacillus plantarum is having catalase which is consisting manganese instead of Fe as a core metal, as a central metal atom. Okay, so obviously there are nowadays different types of discoveries which are revealing out, that are actually showing us or exploring that some of the lactic acid bacteria are also having the, or also possessing the catalases which are something different than the normal type of catalases, because the catalases which are found, which are present into the lactic acid bacteria like lactobacillus plantarum, which are having manganese instead of a Fe as compared to the normal type of catalases. Okay, so this can be something as a exception over here. Okay, so but most of these members are having similar type of features, similar type of characteristics. Okay, obviously last one is so much important as far as our today's practical is concerned. So the lactic acid bacteria are nothing but the gram positive, this bacteria, I'm just skipping this now, having the metabolism which is fermentative type, and when they ferment the glucose or lactose or fructose, they are supposed to produce the lactic acid as their major end product, and because of which these are commonly called as a lactic acid bacteria. Obviously some of the lactic acid bacteria are also having the clinical significance. So yes, I'm expecting at least 2 examples of a genera which are having the clinical significance and belonging to the lactic acid bacteria. Yes, anyone of you? Yes, do you know?
Like lactobacillus is also used as a probiotic.
Okay. Yes, any else? Is there any other genus which is having clinical significance? I mean to say causing the diseases or infections. I'm giving one more hint. You have already studied, but you might not that much clear that whether it is belonging to the lactic acid bacteria or not. Is it? I think it can be the case.
Sir, I think some of them cause that dental plaque.
Okay, yes, right. What is that genus?
Sir, I'm not sure about it.
Streptococcus, is it?
Maybe, sir, I'm not sure.
Yes, yes. So Streptococcus is obviously the genus which is having clinical importance, and Streptococci are also belonging to the lactic acid bacteria. Okay, but nowadays I think there is a huge, we can say, huge drastic change is going on in their renaming. Okay, these genera are getting renamed something like Lactococcus. Previously known as a Streptococcus lactis is nowadays called as a Lactococcus lactis subspecies lactis. Okay, so much classification and rearrangement is going in these different types of genera which are belonging to the lactic acid bacteria, as there is a recent advent into the different types of we can say DNA based studies or DNA based analysis is going on for the classification or a characterization purposes. Okay, and that's why this rearrangement is common for lactic acid bacteria. Okay, So I have just put down one example, Streptococcus lactis, which was previously called as, nowadays it is classified and known as a Lactococcus lactis subspecies lactis. Okay, so Streptococci are also belonging to the lactic acid bacteria group. Okay, so which are having the clinical significance because these are capable of causing some of the infections, and most of them are causing the secondary type of infections. Okay, yes. Obviously, these are having so much industrial importance, and that will be discussed. Obviously, I think in a semester 6, we are having the separate unit in where we are having separate topic, that is the production of lactic acid starter cultures, because lactic acid bacteria are common type of bacteria which are being used for the fermentation of different types of milk products. Okay, there we will be studying about that. Okay, not only the milk product but other products also, including vegetables, meat products, etc. Okay, so that will be covered then, but right now we are just getting into the main practical. So yes, example of lactic acid bacteria, I have just put down the complete list. This is one of the recent list of examples of lactic acid bacteria which has been published. Obviously not that much recent because it is from 2004, but it is actually something as an inclusive one and something as a we can say more elaborative one, because you can see there are near about 21 genera which are mentioned and belonging to the lactic acid bacteria. Obviously 2004 से लेके 2000 अभी 21 चल रहा है. ओके, तब तक न जाने कितना सारा रीअरेंजमेंट हुआ रहेगा, लेकिन ये वाला लिस्ट अभी तक भी एज ए रेफरेंस करके यूज किया जा रहा है, तो उसको मैंने यहाँ पे ऐड किया है. अगर आपको कोई रेफरेंस मिलता है, यू कैन रिफर टू दैट आल्सो. ओके, so you can see there are near about 21, and we can add the 22, that is we have just discussed Sporolactobacillus. Okay, so near about 22 species, 22 genera are belonging to the lactic acid bacteria group. Okay, obviously some of them are so much dominant over there, like Lactobacillus, Streptococcus, Pediococcus, Leuconostoc, and some of them are not that much common, but these are having slight bit different features from the main group, and that's why these are having the different types of name for their genera. Otherwise most of the features are same and the common for most of these organisms. Okay, even the Lactococcus is a common one. Okay, so as you know, obviously we are having near about 22 different genera which are belonging to the lactic acid bacteria, and that's why, just to make more clarity and for convenience of a study and analysis and any purpose, we need to carry out the further classification of these lactic acid bacteria. And for that classification purpose, obviously we need something as a foundation, something as a criteria, on the basis of which we can classify them into the different groups which can be convenient, useful for our purpose. Okay, and that's why classification of these lactic acid bacteria is also one of the useful work and common task. Okay, and that can be achieved by a variety of ways. We are going to discuss one of them, but before that I would like to just put some of the other classification strategies also. Okay, so first one, that is as far as the industrial importance is concerned, the lactic acid bacteria which are being used as an inoculum into the different types of fermentation processes, which are basically and commonly being classified as a pure cultures and the mixed cultures. Obviously name itself is saying pure cultures are supposed to be having the single species of a given genera or single genus at least, and mixed cultures are supposed to have the different species of a single genus or a different genera also, because right now it is having the industrial importance only. So that type of term can be used for the classification of a lactic acid bacteria once it is being used as an inoculum for the different types of food fermentation processes, pure cultures and the mixed cultures. But obviously it is having only industrial relevance. Okay, it will be discussed in semester 6 when we are dealing with that topic. Okay, lactic acid starter cultures. Next, optimum temperature. On the basis of this particular physiological property, the lactic acid bacteria are also classified into two groups, mesophilic and the thermophilic. I think these two terms are so much clear to you. You can define in your own ways. Only you are supposed to have these bacteria as a lactic acid bacteria. And on the basis of their optimum temperature, the temperature at which these are able to survive and show multiplication very well, that is the optimum temperature. Accordingly, these can be classified as a mesophilic lactic acid bacteria and the thermophilic. Okay, and the last and the main part of practical to be discussed, that is classification of lactic acid bacteria on the basis of principal end product of a fermentation once these are grown in a medium containing a glucose or fructose or lactose. Okay, so on the basis of the principal end product, we have just discussed about it, lactic acid. On the basis of that, we can classify this bacteria. Okay, lactic acid bacteria. These can be classified either as a homolactic fermenters or a heterolactic fermenters. Okay, commonly these are also called as a homofermenters or heterofermenters. But better for clarity, we are supposed to use the term homolactic fermenters and the heterolactic fermenters. Okay, but obviously it can be directly said as the homofermenters also and the heterofermenters also. Okay, so this is the main strategy that is the part of our practical to be discussed. Okay, classification of lactic acid bacteria, or we can say differentiation of lactic acid bacteria on the basis of their major or a sole end product once these are fermenting the glucose or simple type of sugars, lactose or fructose. Okay. So yes, this is the basic difference in between these two groups of lactic acid bacteria. So homofermentative bacteria are able to produce two molecules of lactic acid from the one molecule of glucose, obviously because of the fermentation. And in contrast to that, you are having the heterofermenters, which are producing just a minute, यहाँ पे one आएगा, वो मैंने जनरल से डायरेक्टली स्क्रीनशॉट लिया है, तो just make it correct from your end, just consider it as a one. Okay, because once there is a fermentation of a glucose by heterofermenters, we are supposed to get the single molecule of lactic acid, then acetic acid and the CO2. Okay, acetic acid, obviously it is one of the end product, but sometimes some of the organism in certain types of conditions can also produce the ethanol. Okay, and once they are provided with the fructose, they are also having ability to convert the fructose into the mannitol also. Okay, so we can say heterofermentive lactic acid bacteria are having something as a diverse type of metabolism once these are growing in the presence of a glucose or a fructose. Okay, so these products are supposed to be gate changed, but this end product, lactic acid or lactate, remains the same. But you can just let me cancel it, otherwise it may make confusion. Just a minute. Okay, sorry for the interruption. Yes, okay. So this is the basic change, and because of this basic change, we are able to classify these lactic acid bacteria into two major groups called as homofermentative and the other one heterofermentative. So yes, any one of you, can you define homofermentative bacteria or homofermentative lactic acid bacteria? Yes, by using this particular data which is shown over here.
Sir, can we define it?
Yes.
Can we define it as organisms with ability to ferment glucose into two lactic acid molecules, just lactic acid?
Okay, so you said that organism, but I will make it more specified, like lactic acid bacteria. So lactic acid bacteria which are capable of converting the glucose via fermentation to two molecules of lactic acid, these are called as a homofermentative. Okay, yes, so whatever you have answered, that is correct, but I make something as more specified. Okay, not only organism, but I add obviously if they are producing lactic acid, these are obviously lactic acid bacteria. Okay, so organism के हिसाब से तो बाकी के भी cells आना obvious बन सकता है, because lactic acid fermentation is also occurring in other types of organisms also, including human beings, once these are having the hypoxic conditions, mainly into muscle cells. Okay, and that's why I'm specifying, but we are dealing with the bacteria obviously. Okay, so bacterial species, lactic acid bacteria capable of converting the glucose or capable of fermenting the glucose to the two molecules of lactic acid, and obviously lactic acid or lactate are nothing but the sole end products, and that's why these are the two lactic acid molecules. And in contrast to that, you are having the other group which are capable of converting the glucose via fermentation to get end products like one molecule of lactic acid and acetic acid or ethanol and the CO2, and these are called as a heterofermentative lactic acid bacteria. Okay, so this is the basic change, or this is the basic criteria as far as the metabolism is concerned, on the basis of which we can classify these lactic acid bacteria into two groups, homofermentative and the heterofermentative. Okay. So yes, this is the pathway. This is for homolactic fermentation or homolactic lactate fermentation. We can say it any other way, homolactic acid fermentation बोलो, homolactic fermentation बोलो, या फिर homo fermentation बोलो, या फिर homofermentative pathway बोलो. It can be correct. Okay. So obviously you can see that obviously this is up to this point, up to the pyruvate, starting from the glucose up to the pyruvate. What is this pathway? Obviously you can know it. starting from the glucose, ending with the pyruvate. What is it?
Glycolysis.
Yes.
Glycolysis.
Yes. So glycolysis. So we can simply say the homolactic acid fermentation is nothing but the extension of glycolysis, which is characterized by the conversion of the end product of glycolysis, that is the pyruvate, to the lactic acid by the enzyme which is called as a lactate dehydrogenase or a pyruvate reductase. Okay, so this is the last enzyme which can be catalyzing the last step in this particular fermentation pathway, and here there is an extension. So up to pyruvate is nothing but the glycolysis, but that glycolysis, the end product of that glycolysis, that is the pyruvate, is getting converted by enzyme lactate dehydrogenase into the lactate, that is the lactic acid, under the absence of oxygen. So obviously this is a fermentation. So under the anaerobic condition, that pyruvate is further getting converted into the lactate by the enzyme lactate dehydrogenase, and this is the pathway which is occurring into the homolactic bacteria or homofermentative bacteria. But as far as the enzyme significance is concerned, this enzyme is critical, aldolase. So aldolase being one of the important enzyme in glycolysis, because of this enzyme, this overall pathway is something as a significant, and we can say restricted to the homolactic acid bacteria or homolactic bacteria. Okay, so aldolase is an enzyme, because if this enzyme is missing in the lactic acid bacteria, another type of pathway is occurring in presence of other type of enzymes, and because of which other end products are getting produced, and that makes the change in between the homofermentative lactic acid bacteria and the heterofermentative lactic acid bacteria. So aldolase is an enzyme which is obviously one of the important one, because of which the pathway is getting diverted, pathway is getting changed, and that's give rise to the different types of end products, on the basis of which we are able to classify these lactic acid bacteria in two separate groups. Okay, so I think there is no such need to go that much deep as far as these different steps in the glycolysis are concerned. Only last one is important. Obviously in last step, obviously the NAD is also getting we can say replenished. Okay, so NADH, whatever NAD is produced in the previous steps of glycolysis, that is, or we can say the NAD is getting regenerated in the last step of this particular fermentation pathway by the enzyme lactate dehydrogenase, which converts the pyruvate to lactic acid. Okay, obviously it is something as a two molecules, यहाँ से दो molecules बनते ही जाएंगे, तो लास्ट में जाके आपको यहाँ पे दो lactic acid molecules मिल रहे हैं, दोनों को आप side by side भी यहाँ पे consider कर सकते हो. So simply saying, one glucose molecule is getting fermented to two molecules of a lactic acid in homolactic acid fermentation, and these bacteria are called as a homofermentative lactic acid bacteria. Okay. Yes, Sachin sir, is it completed in theory? I think not. I think next unit में रहेगा, right?
No, we can't start this without central metabolic pathway.
Okay, sir. So in contrast to this, glycolysis तो obviously हुआ रहेगा, right? या नहीं हुआ है अभी तक?
Glycolysis चल रहा है sir.
Okay, so simultaneously हो रहा है, that is good. Okay. So this is about the pathway for homofermentative bacteria, homofermentative lactic acid bacteria. And in contrast to this, the pathway that occurs into the heterofermentative lactic acid bacteria is somewhat like this. So I think you have, I'm not sure that you have done with the pentose phosphate pathway, is it?
No, sir.
Okay. So because some of the steps which are at the upper half of this particular pathway are concerned, these are from the pentose phosphate pathway, okay, which are abbreviated as the PPP. Okay, so from that pathway we are having some of the steps. So we can say some of the steps of this particular pathway, and pentose phosphate pathway are common ones. Okay, and particular enzyme, this enzyme is so much important. So biochemistry, as far as the we can say biochemistry of this all metabolism is concerned, that will be discussed in a theory in a detail with the all roles of we can say significant roles of the all enzymes. But right now we are just discussing and concentrating onto the main enzymes which are responsible for such type of variation in the end products. Okay, so phosphoketolase is a main enzyme which is responsible for giving rise to the bifurcation to this particular pathway, which ends up with the two separate end products. Okay, I am saying two separate end products, one being the ethanol, another lactic acid. But you will say CO2 is missing, because as far as the definition is concerned, glucose is supposed to get fermented into the one molecule of lactic acid, one molecule of ethanol, and the one molecule of CO2. But you can see that CO2 is getting released over here. once there is a decarboxylation of a 6-phosphogluconate, at that time CO2 is getting released, and that is the third end product of a heterofermentative pathway. Okay, are you getting it? Arrow अगर दिख रहा है तो I am not just a minute. Yes. So CO2 is one of the end product. Again, ethanol, then lactic acid, one molecule. So we can say in heterofermentative pathway, glucose is getting fermented to release 3 separate individual end products or different end products. 1 molecule of a lactic acid, 1 molecule of ethanol, and 1 molecule of a CO2. And whatever acetic acid we just discussed about it, it is getting produced over here. Okay, acetyl phosphate is getting further converted into the acetic acid by 2 other enzymes. So one of them is called as a phosphotrans acetylase, and another one acetokinase. Obviously, there is a generation of ATP also. Okay, so phosphotrans acetylase and acetokinase. So these are the 2 enzymes which are extending this particular intermediate to get the acetic acid as the end product. Obviously, there is a 1 molecule of ATP is also getting produced. Okay. So depending on to the different physiological condition, these different types of we can say extension of this particular bifurcation can be taking place. So ethanol is also produced because we need to regenerate the NAD. So NAD is getting regenerated once there is a flow of these intermediates into this particular extension in this particular arm. Okay, so acetyl phosphate is getting converted to acetyl coenzyme A, which is getting further converted to acetaldehyde, which is getting further converted, or we can say converted by enzyme ethanol dehydrogenase. I think yes, ethanol dehydrogenase to get the ethanol as an end product. Okay, so ethanol, lactic acid, and the CO2 are the end products of a heterolactic fermentation pathway. Okay, and as there is a variation, as we discussed the previous pathway, there was a single type of end product was being produced from the single molecule of glucose, that is the lactic acid. But here we can get the production of lactic acid also, and along with the 1 molecule of lactic acid, we are also getting the ethanol and the CO2. And because of this variation in the end products, we are capable of differentiating these organisms into 2 separate groups, homofermentative and the heterofermentative. Okay. Yes, being obviously from the strong background of biochemistry, I would like to add some of the points regarding this pathway from Sachin sir. Yes, Sachin sir, please. Yes, sir, are you there?
Yes, I'm there. I
Yes.
think what you have said is right now for the experiment is
Yes,
more
sir.
than enough.
So should we go next?
Yes, we can go ahead.
Okay, so obviously whatever as the detailed part is concerned regarding role and activity of all these enzymes, that will be discussed in a theory in detailed manner. Okay. So yes, as far as the practical is concerned, whatever the enzymes we have just discussed, which are important, we have just discussed it, and that is enough for a practical part. Okay. So yes, this is the one more slide. We can see slide, not the pathway, because I have just made something as a hybridization. Okay. So this is the pathway, or we can say this is the slide which is telling us about the basic difference in between these 2 separate biosynthetic pathways occurring into the separate group of organisms, homolactic and the heterolactic. Okay, obviously starting material or starting molecule is the same, glucose. Okay, लेकिन यहाँ का pathway about homolactic fermenters और यहाँ पे heterolactic fermenters. Okay, and I have just tried to थोड़ा सा addition भी किया है तो देखता हूँ work करता है कि नहीं. Yes, it is working. So CO2 यहाँ पे release हो रहा था because of the decarboxylation of phosphogluconic acid. So CO2 is getting released over here. So you can, okay, यहाँ पे मैंने एक line डाला है, अगर आपको दिख रहा है तो आपके end पे. Okay, so this line is for separation of these 2 separate pathways. Okay, here there is a production of 2 molecules of lactic acid from the 1 molecule of glucose. Okay, and here there is a production of 1 molecule of lactic acid, that is lactate in aqueous solution, 1 molecule of ethanol, and 1 molecule of CO2. And because of this change, we are able to demonstrate the differentiation of lactic acid bacteria as a homofermentative and the heterofermentative into the laboratory conditions only because of these separate individual end products. Okay, यहाँ पे acidity ज़्यादा आएगा क्योंकि 2 molecules lactic acid के बन रहे हैं. यहाँ पे acidity कम आएगी comparatively, और यहाँ पे CO2 भी आ रहा है. CO2 को अगर आप डिटेक्ट कर पाते हो तो आप वहाँ पे डिफरेंशिएट कर पाओगे. That is the basic, and that is also basic for our practical part also. Obviously रिएक्शन में ऐसे डायरेक्टली बोल नहीं सकते कि बैलेंस्ड आउट है, क्योंकि यहाँ पे 2 ग्लूकोज मॉलिक्यूल चाहिए तो ही जाके हो सकता है, लेकिन ये डिफरेंशिएशन दिखाने के लिए रखा है. ओके, तो आप बोलोगे एक ग्लूकोज अगर यहाँ पे 2 मॉलिक्यूल बन रहे हैं लैक्टिक एसिड के, तो ये कहाँ से बन सकता है? सो जस्ट कंसीडर 1 मोर ग्लूकोज मॉलिक्यूल ओवर हियर. तो यहाँ से यहाँ तक का पार्ट कॉमन कंसिडर करना प्लीज, ओके। नहीं तो आप बोलोगे 2 लैक्टिक एसिड मॉलिक्यूल बनने के बाद तो ग्लूकोज खत्म, ये कहाँ से जनरेट हो जाएगा, ओके। सो जस्ट कंसिडर दैट दिस इज फॉर जस्ट डिफरेंशिएशन ऑफ these 2 सेपरेट पाथवेज ऑन अ सिंगल स्लाइड, ओके। थोड़ा सा एडिशन किया है फॉर अ बेटर क्लैरिटी। सो यस, इज इट क्लियर टू यू ऑल so far? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I think you can get now idea that how we can differentiate these 2 organisms, 2 groups of lactic acid bacteria. अगर इनको आप डिटेक्ट कर पाते हो तो आपका प्रैक्टिकल वहाँ पे इजी हो जाता है। वही हमारा मेन सेंटर है प्रैक्टिकल डिस्कशन का। एक में एक तो एसिडिटी चेक करते हैं या फिर दूसरे में CO2 चेक करते हैं, ओके। I have just tried to differentiate it. Before that, I have just added some of the examples for homofermenters or homolactic fermenters and heterofermenters. You can get the more examples of homofermenters and the heterofermenters from your journal itself and from other reference and the textbooks also, okay. But these are some of the common that I have added over here. At the end, just remind me that I have to give you one task, okay. End में थोड़ा सा मुझे remind करना कि आपको कुछ task देना है। अभी नहीं डाइवर्ट कर रहा हूँ, वो डिस्कस करना पड़ेगा थोड़ा सा, लेकिन मुझे लास्ट में थोड़ा सा रिमाइंड करना कि मुझे आपको कुछ टास्क देना है इफ टाइम अलाउस, ओके। सो आई एम नॉट डिस्कसिंग दैट मच डिटेल इन एग्जांपल्स, आई एम जस्ट गेटिंग इट नेक्स्ट। यस, ओके। सो यू विल से हाउ वी कैन डायरेक्टली स्टार्ट फॉर डिफरेंशिएशन ऑफ अ लैक्टिक एसिड बैक्टीरिया एज अ होमोफर्मेंटेटिव और हेटेरोफर्मेंटेटिव। ऑब्वियसली वी नीड द प्योर कल्चर, so that's why we need to get the pure culture, and that can be obtained by making use of one of the selective medium, that is the MRS agar medium, okay. So first step, that is the isolation of a lactic acid bacteria on a MRS agar medium. So yes, this is the composition. I think I'm just asking, did you have this? Do you have this particular medium in your SY? Yes or no? In that practical part, milk products, is it? Was this media in your SY practicals? MRS? Yes or no, please?
No,
Yes, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
Okay, it's okay, it's okay. It's okay. So MRS is one of the common type of selective medium being employed for the isolation of a lactic acid bacteria. MRS stands for the 3 scientists, microbiologists, who have actually formulated and modified this medium or formulated this medium. Deman, Rogosa, and Sharp. Okay, spelling अभी यहाँ पे नहीं लिखना possible है, लेकिन आपको references से मिल जाएगा. I will be sharing that. Okay, Deman, D-E-M capital, Deman, Rogosa, and Sharp, S-H-A-R-P-E. So that's why it is called as a MRS agar medium, selective for the isolation of a lactic acid bacteria. Obviously, there is not that much requirement to discuss the first 3 ingredients of a media: tryptone, HM extract, and the yeast extract. So these are basically providing the carbon or organic nitrogen and other types of vitamin B12 complex and all for the growth of organisms. Because in definition itself, we have added some of the points as the features. These are the fast release organisms. And that's why these require some of the ready-made type of nutrient for their survival, which are nothing but the growth factors for the lactic acid bacteria. Okay, these are basically being provided by these 3 main components: tryptone, HM extract, and the yeast extract. Next 2 components, triammonium citrate and sodium acetate, are responsible to act as a selective agent. These are basically inhibiting the growth of gram-negative bacteria and certain other types of gram-positive bacteria other than the lactic acid bacteria. Okay, triammonium citrate and the sodium acetate. Next 2 components are actually required for the actually cofactors of that fermentation pathway, because these are basically the salts of manganese and the magnesium. Next one is obviously maintaining the osmotic balance, maintaining the buffering capacity. Dextrose, glucose, fermentable sugar, provide carbon and energy source. Polysorbate 80, that is the twin 80, actually provide the fatty acids required basically for the growth of the lactic acid bacteria, because these are the growth factors required for the growth of a lactic acid bacteria. Okay, so this is the basic composition of MRS. But as far as reference, or we can say the back reference is concerned, you can get the we can say the numerous modification of a basic MRS medium. बहुत सा वहाँ पे अभी अलग अलग मॉडिफिकेशन आ चुका है. हर एक स्पेसिफाइड जीनस के लिए या फिर जीनेरा के लिए भी अलग अलग वो उन्होंने मॉडिफिकेशन किया है. But whatever I have just tried to put in front of you, that is something as a main and a basic type of a MRS agar medium. Okay, लेकिन बाकी मीडियम में बहुत सा अलग अलग उन्होंने चेंज किया है अपनी अपनी उनके स्पेसिफिकेशन एंड द ऑब्जेक्टिव के हिसाब से. Agar solidifying agent, pH near about 5.5 to 5.7. Okay, because of the acidic pH, this is actually inhibiting some of the other organisms also. So apart from these 2 components, triammonium citrate and the sodium acetate. The lower pH is also acting as something as a selective type of parameter. Okay, so this is the medium, this is the composition for the MRS agar medium to be used for the isolation of lactic acid bacteria from the different types of sources. So I think as far as the sources of lactic acid bacteria is concerned, you can know some of the examples. I think yes, I have added some of the common examples from which we can go for the isolation of lactic acid bacteria. Okay, so you can discuss at your end itself, or you can just make your answers ready. What are different sources of lactic acid bacteria from which we can isolate in our laboratory using the MRS agar medium. But as far as the practical protocol is concerned, I have just put down the two examples. Okay, fermented idli batter or a fermented milk product. So you are supposed to initially make the suspension of it in the sterile saline. Then you are supposed to inoculate into the plate of a MRS agar medium. Obviously, this part is a basic. Don't need to go that much deep. Source ये लेने के पीछे obviously कुछ ना कुछ तो reason है, because these are the some of the basic type of sources where we can get the live cells of a lactic acid bacteria. Because after the carrying out the fermentation, bacteria are supposed to be there from which we can isolate onto the selective medium. Okay, fermented milk product and the fermented idli batter. Okay. Yes, incubation condition is somewhat different because डेफिनेशन के अंदर इतना सारा मैंने कंटेंट डाला था, हर एक कंटेंट या फिर जो भी मैंने वहां पे फीचर डाला था उसका इस ओवरऑल प्रोसेस में कहीं ना कहीं जाके रिलेवेंस आ रहा है. ओके, जैसे कैटालिस्ट नेगेटिव, उसके बाद वो माइक्रो एरोफिलिक थे या फिर कहीं पे ग्राम पॉजिटिव वगैरह, ऐसा कुछ जो भी प्रॉपर्टी वहां पे लिखा हुआ है उसका कहीं ना कहीं जाके रिलेवेंस है. इसके लिए मैंने वो डेफिनेशन उतना इलेबोरेटिव एंड द एक्सटेंशन वाला बना दिया था. ओके, सो दीज आर द सम ऑफ द फीचर्स व्हिच आर गेटिंग relevant or which are making relevance in this particular procedure or principal part. Okay, so definition को फिर से रिकॉल करते ही कंटिन्यूसली रखना, कहीं ना कहीं जाके उसका आगे रिलेवेंस आने वाला है. Okay, so one relevance is over here. Once you are done with the inoculation onto the MRS, obviously sterile MRS agar plate. Okay, just make that correction, sterile MRS agar plate. So you are supposed to after inoculation you are supposed to incubate these inoculated plates in a desiccator containing the lighted candle and allowed to incubate for 48 hours. Okay, so obviously these organisms are sensitive to the atmospheric level of oxygen. Okay, not obviously it is not true, or we can say it is not restricted that some of them are strictly anaerobic, some of them are microaerophilic or aerotolerant. Right now we don't know what type of organism, what type of species will be there in that fermented idli batter or a fermented milk product, and that's why whatever condition we are maintaining, accordingly that you are supposed to get the isolate growing onto the plate. Obviously some of the organism will be growing something as a later time. क्यों? अगर वो एनारोबिक टाइप का वहां पे मेटाबॉलिज्म दिखाता है तो मे बी वो पहले टाइम में वहां पे ग्रोथ नहीं दिखाएगा, बट वंस अदर ऑर्गेनिजम्स might have we can say might have scavenged out or might have utilized the other remaining part of oxygen, or because of that lighted candle, if the oxygen is getting completely utilized, now there is an anaerobic condition, complete anaerobic condition. So some of the organism will be growing a little bit late, some of the organism will be growing a little bit faster also, depending on their growth rate. Okay, so some of the colonies will be smaller ones, some of the colonies will be bigger one. Obviously we are not dealing with the pure culture, it is something as a mixed source, and that's why we can get the variety of different colonies on a single MRS agar medium once we are done with the 48-hour incubation in that desiccator containing the lighted candle. Okay, then we are supposed to observe for the growth. So I have just tried to put one picture over there where we can see that there is something as a crowded plate, near about crowded plate. We can see that there are different types of colonies as far as the size, color, or right now shape is concerned. So we can get such a mixed type of culture on a MRS agar medium once we are done with the sufficient incubation time and period, time and temperature. So right now we cannot say that these all are obviously not something as exceptional, we can call it as. लेकिन अभी के अभी पूरा का पूरा कंफर्मेशन के तौर पे नहीं बोल सकते कि ये पूरे के पूरी लैक्टिक एसिड बैक्टीरिया रहेंगे. मे बी वहाँ पे कुछ अलग टाइप के ऑर्गेनिज्म रहेंगे जो इडली बैटर के अंदर है और वो उस मीडिया के ऊपर सर्वाइव होने में कैपेबल हुए हैं. We right now cannot confirm, but we can make use of some of the basic properties like catalase and the Gram staining, because most of the lactic acid bacteria are catalase negative, and that's why whichever the colony that you have obtained on a plate as a well isolated colonies, which are supposed to be tested initially first for the catalase test, and then whichever colony is showing the catalase negative, which can be further picked up for the Gram staining, somewhat different whatever we have discussed for the medical practical. कि ग्राम स्टेनिंग करने के बाद अगर कैटालिस किया तो पॉजिटिव मिला तो वो बिना काम का हो जाएगा. And that's why it is prepared in a reverse manner. First perform the catalase and then for the gram staining. Because catalase negative, something as a presumptive identification that this can be the lactic acid bacteria, and obviously something was done as a selection on that MRS agar medium also. Catalase become one of the another presumptive test for the identification of a lactic acid bacteria. So catalase negative जो भी colonies रहेंगी, this can be further process for the gram staining. gram staining का अपना अपना उनका आउटकम रहेगा. Something as a long bacilli in a chain, something as a streptococcus type वहाँ पे आपको दिख सकते हैं, chain में दिख सकते हैं. So depending on to the actual colony or we can say the actual organism or species, we can get the different types of outcomes into the gram staining, which is supposed to be recorded down. Catalase का भी record down आपको करना रहेगा. जो भी catalase negative दिए हैं उनका ही आपको आगे जाके gram staining करना है. Okay, these observations are supposed to be recorded down. Then the single colony which is showing the catalase negative and whatever is the gram character, that is supposed to be isolated to get the pure cultures onto the plate. Okay, and for further uses this can be stored onto the slants also. MRI slant के ऊपर आपको store करके रखने पड़ेंगे for the future uses. Okay, so हर एक कॉलोनी जो भी आपने यहाँ पे ऑब्टेन किया था, obviously वो मिक्स कल्चर था. जो भी कॉलोनी आपको प्रिजम्पटिव लैक्टिक एसिड बैक्टीरिया लग रहा है उसको आगे लेके हम प्योर कल्चर में कन्वर्ट कर सकते हैं बाय रिपीटेटिव स्ट्रिकिंग ऑन टू द MRS agar medium, sterile MRS agar medium plate. ओके, यहाँ पे आपको प्योर कल्चर मिल जाएगा. अभी यहाँ पे कंटामिनेशन नहीं है तो एक एक कॉलोनी उठा के उसका आप स्लांट के ऊपर ट्रांसफर करके उसको स्टोर करके रख सकते हो फॉर द फ्यूचर यूजेस. ओके, फ्यूचर यूजेस इन द सेंस अभी इस प्रैक्टिकल का एक्सटेंशन है, वहां पे जाके आपको काम में आने वाला है. ओके, तो आगे कुछ आपका काम रहेगा रियल वर्क पे तो भी आप उसके लिए भी आप इस स्लांट प्रिजर्व करके रख सकते हो, या अभी प्रैक्टिकल का एक्सटेंशन है उसके लिए भी वो स्लांट आपको काम में आएंगे, या फिर इसी प्लेट के ऊपर से कॉलोनी सिलेक्ट करके आप आगे यूज कर सकते हो. ओके, नो इशू. सो इज दिस क्लियर टू यू सो फार, यस और नो? स्पीडी हो रहा होगा तो बोल देना, क्योंकि आपको आज 2 प्रैक्टिकल्स हैं प्लस आपका एक इंटर्न टेस्ट भी, राइट? सो इज इट क्लियर टू यू सो फार, यस और नो?
यस सर.
ओके, जो भी बेसिक टाइप का था, हाँ यस, ओके थैंक यू. सो जो भी बेसिक टाइप का था वहाँ पे मैंने थोड़ा सा स्पीडी किया है और बीच में क्वेश्चन पूछा है, जो कुछ नया है कुछ समझा नहीं होगा. ओके, कुछ भी डाउट पेरी रहेंगे तो बीच में इंटरप्ट करके पूछ सकते हो, नो इश्यू. ओके, so this is the part up to the isolation and the purification of a lactic acid bacteria on a MRS agar medium. Okay, now we have got the lactic acid bacteria, or we can say the isolate of a lactic acid bacterium. Okay, bacterium in the sense we have now pure culture, that's why I'm using the word lactic acid bacterium. Okay, now we need to check whether it is a homofermentative or a heterofermentative. Obviously this can be achieved by 2 different methods. Yes, it's okay. Okay, so as we have discussed about the different pathways for different organisms in this lactic acid bacteria, we can classify or we can differentiate the given isolate on the basis of a CO2 production. And there we can make use of one of the medium which is called as a gypsum semi-solid agar medium. So obviously idea is somewhat clear. CO2 production आपको देखना है, CO2 production आपको दिख रहा है. Sorry for the interruption. Okay, so on the basis of CO2 production we can differentiate whether the given isolate of a lactic acid bacteria is a homofermentative or a heterofermentative, and there we can make use of a medium which is called as a gypsum semi-solid agar medium. Okay, another strategy by which we can differentiate is nothing but on the basis of a higher acidity production. So here we are making the use of the particular principle which is saying that in homofermentative lactic acid bacteria, glucose is getting fermented to 2 molecules of a lactic acid. Okay, obviously 2 molecules of lactic acid are supposed to generate the high amount of acidity as compared to the 1 molecule being produced into the heterofermentative pathway. And this particular principle, this particular fact can be also used for the differentiation purpose. But here we are making use of another medium which is called as a HHD medium, having full form homo and heterofermentous differentiation medium, HHD. Okay, common abbreviation उसका HHD हम use करते हैं. So HHD stands for homo and heterofermentous differentiation medium. Okay, so these are the 2 basic strategies on the basis of which we can classify the obtained isolate of a lactic acid bacteria. Okay, obviously sometimes it is also suggested that this can be subsequently followed by this as a confirmation. Okay, CO2 production जो भी हुआ रहेगा वो something as a presumptive consider कर सकते हो, उसको आगे जाकर आप इस मेथड से कंफर्म कर सकते हो. Okay, ये आपको कुछ क्लियर आइडिया अगर नहीं दे रहा है तो कुछ अगर वहाँ पे डाउटफुल ऐसा कुछ रहेगा उसको आप आगे फॉलो करके इस मेथड से आप कंफर्म कर सकते हो। ओके, ऑब्वियसली दिस इज समथिंग एज ए डेफिनेटिव, लेकिन यहाँ पे टाइम पीरियड थोड़ा सा सिग्निफिकेंट है, क्योंकि अगर ज़्यादा टाइम के लिए रखोगे तो सेम टाइप का एसिडिटी वहाँ पे आ जाएगा, 2 दिन का एसिडिटी आ जाएगा, तो कॉलोनी का कलर, मीडिया का कलर वो आपको ज़्यादा मतलब कन्फ्यूजन हो सकता है। सो एक ही टाइम पीरियड के लिए 2 अलग अलग आइसोलेट अगर रहेंगे तो आपको दोनों को एक ही टाइम पीरियड के लिए सेम ही टाइप के प्लेट के ऊपर आपको इंक्यूबेट करके रखना है, उसके बाद आपको आप उसको इंटरप्रेट कर सकते हो। We can also make use of some of the standard cultures which are known for their fermentation pathway as standard ones. Okay, so these are the 2 basic strategies on the basis of which we can differentiate the lactic acid bacteria as a homofermentative and the heterofermentative. Okay. Okay, I think we need to speed up. Let's see what happens. Okay, so first gypsum semi-solid agar medium. This is the composition. ऑब्वियसली yeast extract, ग्लूकोज, yeast extract का क्या काम है अभी हमने डिस्कस किया, उसके बाद अभी डिटेल में नहीं जा रहा हूँ। ग्लूकोज का भी काम आपको पता है, MnSO4. Obviously this is also providing some of the amino acids required for the growth of the organism because these are the fastest one. Also providing some of the minerals also required for the growth of the organism. Nutrient agar is also added as one of the separate ingredient. Obviously nutrient agar itself is one of the medium, but यहाँ पे वो as a ingredient add करें. Tomato juice is added having near about pH 6.0. ओवरऑल पीएच जो भी आपका मीडिया का आएगा, पूरा मीडिया आपको कंपोज करने के बाद उसका जो भी पीएच आएगा दैट इज सपोज्ड टू बी इन द एसिडिक रीजन. ओके, 6 के आसपास वो रहना चाहिए ओवरऑल पीएच. ओके, दिस इज कॉल्ड एज अ सेमी सॉलिड agar medium because we have added the nutrient agar as one of the ingredient. Otherwise you can see that most of the remaining component is having higher amount of water. 800 ml यहाँ पे आ रहा है, 100 ml इसका खुद का यहाँ पे आ रहा है. ओके, so because of this overall agar concentration is so much lowered as compared to the normal agar medium that we use for the plate, and that's why this particular medium, because of this composition, becoming the semi-solid agar medium. Semi-solid agar medium is basically formulated making it or we can say enabling it for the CO2 detection. Okay, CO2 डिटेक्शन वहां पे आपको करना है, इसके लिए ओवरऑल अगर मीडियम का आपको टेक्सचर, उसका नेचर आपको सेमी सॉलिड रखना है, which is facilitating us to detect the CO2 production. Okay, नेक्स्ट क्या रहेगा आपका प्रोसीजर में पार्ट, दिस वाज द मीडिया. सस्पेंशन ऑफ लैक्टिक एसिड बैक्टीरिया आइसोलेट जो भी आपको मिला था, प्लेट के ऊपर से भी ले सकते हो, स्लांट के ऊपर भी ले सकते हो, प्योर कल्चर रहना चाहिए. ओके, इनोकुलेट इनटू द स्टेराइल जिप्सम सेमी सॉलिड अगार बट. We are not making the plate, we are making the agar butt normally into the plant tissue culture tubes or a bumper tubes जो बड़ी साइज के रहते हैं उसके अंदर आप कर सकते हो. छोटे साइज के भी ट्यूब चल सकते हैं, डायलेशन ट्यूब भी चल सकते हैं, लेकिन ये नॉर्मली हम प्रिपेयर करते हैं. ओके, depends whatever we perform in a laboratory, accordingly we can make change for choice of our tubes. Okay, लेकिन प्लेट नहीं रहेंगे उतना टन. So we are supposed to inoculate that isolate into the sterile gypsum semi-solid agar medium by making use of a loop. We are supposed to load at least 2 loops of a isolate. Okay, because we want the reaction to be occurring in a sufficient time of period. Okay, whatever time period we are allowing for the incubation. Okay, loop इसके लिए बोल रहा हूँ क्योंकि ये सेमी सॉलिड अगर मीडियम, तो लूप से भी आप इनोकुलेट कर सकते हो, नो इश्यू. ओके, तो स्टैब इनोकुलेट आपको करना है तो लूप से स्टेट ऐसे इनोकुलेट करना है, दैट कैन बी आल्सो वर्किंग. देन allow slight setting up of that agar butt. So once you are done with the inoculation, obviously if it is a molten one having sufficiently lower down temperature, we can directly add near about 0.1 ml of a culture also. Okay, so because it is initially molten one, not allowed to be solidified partially, and then that's why we can also add it by pipette also. Sterile pipette use करके भी आप यहाँ पे 0.1 ml culture या फिर 2 loop full यहाँ पे add कर सकते हो. Only the logic is that you are supposed to have the maximum inoculum load ताकि CO2 production आपको distinct हो जाएगा after incubation. Once the agar butt is slightly set because of a semi-solid nature, cover the butt with the molten sterile water agar medium. So water agar medium is nothing but the agar dissolved into the water. Okay, so it is only acting as a seal over there. So sterile water agar medium जो भी रहेगा उसका नियर अबाउट 10 mm का ओवर लेयर आपको वहां पे अगार बट के ऊपर करना है. सो जो भी लोअर वाला अगार बट था वो किसका था, जिप्सम सेमी सॉलिड अगार मीडियम का. उसके ऊपर आपको और एक लेयर डालना है, सील डालना है वहां पे, दैट इज मेड अप ऑफ स्टेराइल वाटर अगार मीडियम नियर अबाउट अप्रोक्सीमेटली 10 mm, दैट इज द 1 centimeter. Some of the scientists are also suggesting that we are supposed to overlay that further seal with sterile mineral oil near about 5 to 7 mm just to entrap the CO2 whatever is being produced. Entrapment के लिए follow करते हैं. Yes, I would like to just consult with the Sachin sir. Are we using this in a laboratory? Yes or no?
Using what?
Overlaying with the sterile mineral oil. After that, agarsil. I think no. I think last year
We don't think so. We do
yes.
We don't.
Excuse me. Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Because lactic acid bacteria, it's not necessary to maintain complete anaerobic conditions.
Yes.
So you can skip the oil overlay step.
Okay. Yes, so it was actually suggested for entrapment of CO2 so that whatever CO2 is getting produced, that is accumulating in that particular limited system itself, and that can make such easy detection. That's why they have just suggested this modification. Okay, but we are not using it, right?
Yes, we are not using mineral.
Okay. Yes, and that's why I have put it in a bracket, something as extra. But right now we are not following it. Okay. Once we are done with that, layering down the water agar medium as a seal, we are supposed to incubate at a room temperature for near about 48 hours, obviously in a candle jar, and observe for an upliftment or a rupture of a agar seal. So after incubation, as we can say, on the basis of the pathway that would have occurred into the cells of a lactic acid bacteria that we have inoculated, accordingly you are supposed to get the observation. Right now I actually didn't get any picture as such for the observation, but I think you can imagine from your end that you are having the agar bud which was inoculated with the lactic acid bacteria, then it was overlaid with the agar seal, and if there is a production of a CO2, obviously if the organism is a heterofermentous, it is supposed to produce the CO2 in that 48 hours of a time period by utilizing the sugar, glucose from that medium. And because of the CO2, the agar seal is supposed to get uplifted or sometimes also get the ruptured out. And that is the indication. So CO2 अगर वहाँ पे detect हो गया because of the rupture or upliftment of the agar seal, that indicates that this particular lactic acid bacteria isolate is nothing but the heterofermentous. अगर वहाँ पे CO2 production नहीं दिखा आपको, which indicates that this particular isolate of lactic acid bacterium is the homofermentous. So is this clear so far as the verbal observation and the interpretation is concerned? Is it? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sorry, but I didn't get any picture from the internet which can be strictly, or we can say, compiling with the actual observation of we can say जिप्सन से मिलिसोलेट अगर मीडियम. ओके, बहुत से ऐसे मीडियम मिले लेकिन वो सच्ची में ऐसे है नहीं, अलग से थे. लेकिन एक तो टीएसआई का भी स्लांट था, उसके अंदर कुछ ना कुछ तो लग रहा था कि वो ऐसे रहेगा. चेंज पॉसिबल था लेकिन मैंने जानबूझ के नहीं किया, नहीं तो थोड़ा सा कलर भी उसका लगा रहा था, थोड़ा सा आपको मिसअंडरस्टैंडिंग हो जाता. ओके, सो वी कैन जस्ट इमेजिन फ्रॉम आवर ओन एंड that how we are supposed to get if the organism is a heterofermenter, and how we are supposed to get the observation if the organism is a homofermentous. Okay, this is not the end. I will be trying to search more pictures from our last year students also, so that we can get the actual pictures. Okay, I have just tried to contact with some of them, but I didn't get it right now. Okay, so I will be trying to get it, and I will be sharing with you as soon as I get it. Okay, so this is the interpretation and observation and the interpretation by using the gypsum semisolid agar medium. Okay, CO2 का प्रेजेंस वहां पे अगर आपको दिखा तो हेटेरोफर्मेंटस, CO2 का प्रेजेंस वहां पे अगर नहीं दिखा तो होमोफर्मेंटस. That is the basic difference as far as the observation and the interpretation is concerned. So is this clear to you so far? Yes or no? Do you have any doubt query? You can ask right now. Otherwise, we can go for the next. और एक वहां पे मेथड बाकी है. Is it clear? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Yes.
can we do this using TSI? Like the interpretation.
TSI. CO2 detect होता है obviously, right? So I think we can. But is TSI providing all types of nutrients required for the growth of lactic acid bacteria? Composition अगर आप check करो तो उसके हिसाब से आपको idea आ जाएगा. Is it providing all types of, because lactic acid bacteria are something as a fastidase one, fatty acids चाहिए, amino acids उनको चाहिए, vitamins अच्छे से provided चाहिए. Is it possible there? Is it yes or no?
Sir, if we compare the MRS, we can say, but Gibson solid, semi-solid agar medium, there are like reconstituted skim milk is like a better source for lactic producing bacteria.
Yes. So tomato
Maybe
juice.
we cannot use that.
Actually, I just forget. Thank you for the reminder. tomato juice and that skim milk. I think skim milk का मैंने बोला. Tomato juice is also providing the different types of trace and the major types of nutrients which are required for the growth of a lactic acid bacteria. Because lactic acid bacteria are something as a nutritionally demanding, fastidious one. उनको बहुत से अलग-अलग minor type के और कुछ major type की वजह से nutrient ready-made चाहिए. And because of which some of the lactic acid bacteria are also used in different types of bioassay. जो आगे आपको अलग से आ जाएगा. I'm just giving some idea about it. Okay. So lactic acid bacteria something are highly fastidious, nutritionally demanding, and that's why that mixture type of requirements is basically being supplied by these two basic components: skim milk and another one, the tomato juice. Okay. So I just forgot, and thank you for the reminder. Okay.
I think,
Yes.
Siddesh, here you have to understand that the consistency of the media will matter a lot. Okay, along with the nutrients. And let me tell you that lactobacillus ko grow karna is a big task. Because
Yes.
even after having MRS, they just don't grow. Okay, they are very, very selective about what they need for their growth. Many a times you will see that you get the growth for 3 to 4 rounds of subculturing, post which they just cease to grow. So they are extremely selective about the nutrients that they need. Okay, and that's the reason why people have been devising constantly new medias to make you to cultivate, lactic acid bacteria in the lab. And in this test specifically, the consistency of the media is equally significant, wherein you need a semi-solid medium. So do you think that TSI will be a good option to do that?
No, sir.
Okay. Actually, as you just suggested about the TSI, I will just say that whatever the basic medium that you have, using the Ram's tube, I think we can detect if it is possible. I'm just जैसे आपने बोला उसके पैरेलल थोड़ा सा एक बोल रहा हूँ कि मे बी अगर ऐसा है तो CO2 डिटेक्शन अगर आपको करना है तो मे बी यू कैन मेक यूज ऑफ अ Durham's ट्यूब. लेकिन जो भी मीडियम रहेगा, ब्रोथ बेस रहेगा, वो ऑब्वियसली हाईली सपोर्टिंग ग्रोथ रहना चाहिए लैक्टिक एसिड बैक्टीरिया का. ओके, नॉट प्रैक्टिकली पॉसिबल. आई एम जस्ट सेइंग व्हाटएवर इज द वे यू हैव सजेस्टेड. ओके. So yes, is there any more doubt? Yes or no? Or shall we go for the next? Yes. Okay.
We can go.
Okay, thank you. So yes, next method or strategy by which we can differentiate, that is nothing but the making use of a HSD medium. So this is the composition. Obviously, I'm not going that much deep into the composition of a medium. Only I would like to just go for last, that is the bromocresol green, which is nothing but the pH. Just a minute. pH indicating dye over here. Otherwise, fructose is a fermentable sugar, monosodium, monopotassium phosphate, providing the trace metal ions and again maintaining the buffering capacity. Remaining का क्या function है वो आपको अच्छी तरह पता है, तो उसके डिटेल में इतना नहीं अभी जाना चाहूँगा. Okay, I think that will be enough because you have repetitively gone through these different types of ingredients for their roles. उनका रोल वहाँ पे क्या है. चेंज यहाँ पे था pH indicating dye, bromocresol green. उसके बाद फ्रुक्टोज फर्मेंटेबल शुगर है जो यहाँ पे ऐड किया है. पीएच तो ऑब्वियसली नियर अबाउट न्यूट्रल, तो अलग कुछ वहाँ पे हम करने वाले हैं. ओके, सो दिस इज द कंपोजिशन फॉर द मीडियम टू बी यूज ओवर हियर. अदरवाइज all ingredients are something the common that we already discussed for different types of media and also for this particular lactic acid bacteria also. Okay, so bromocresol green is a pH indicating dye and that is supposed to be enabling us for the differentiation whether the given isolate of lactic acid bacteria is a homofermentative or a heterofermentative. Okay, यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा पाथवे आपको थोड़ा सा रिकॉल करना पड़ेगा. जस्ट लेट मी गो बैक. आई थिंक यू कैन रिमाइंड. जस्ट अ मिनट, हैंग हो गया आई थिंक. Yes, it's over here. Can you see the slide showing the pathway for two different organisms on a single slide? Is it visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, lag रहेगा थोड़ा, लेट भी आ जाएगा, don't worry. Okay, so this is the major change because of which we are able to differentiate these isolates using the HSD medium. Two molecules of lactic acid from a single molecule of glucose, which means we are getting the double acidity double to that of the acidity being generated in the heterolactic fermentation pathway, and on the basis of which we are able to differentiate given isolate by using the HSD medium. दो molecules obviously comparatively double वहाँ पे acidity आ जाएगी. मॉलिक्यूल बोलने के लिए दो है, लेकिन कितने सारे मॉलिक्यूल, कितने सारे सेल्स वहां पे प्रोड्यूस करेंगे, कंटिन्यूसली प्रोड्यूस करेंगे। तो गिवन पीरियड ऑफ टाइम, अगर दोनों का टाइम पीरियड सेम है, दो आइसोलेट अगर अलग अलग आपके पास है, तो सेम टाइम पीरियड में, सेम इंक्यूबेशन कंडीशन में, सेम ग्लूकोज मॉलिक्यूल प्रोवाइडेड अगर रहेंगे, ओवरऑल कंडीशन अगर नियर अबाउट आइडेंटिकल रहेगा, तो जो भी एसिड वहां पे जनरेट हो जाएगा, दोनों का बहुत चेंज रहेगा, दोनों में बहुत डिफरेंस रहेगा। एंड दैट डिफरेंस इनटू द ओवरऑल एसिडिटी जनरेटेड, we can differentiate these isolates using the plate HHD medium, homo and hetero fermenters differentiation medium. Okay, मुझे वहां पे पाथवे वो डालना चाहिए था, बट इट रिमेन्स जस्ट। ओके, प्रोसीजर का पार्ट नियर अबाउट सेम। सस्पेंशन ऑफ, yes, this was the composition and this was the procedure. Suspension of lactic acid bacteria isolate, inoculate onto the sterile HGD agar plate. यहाँ पे प्लेट है तो टी स्टिकिंग करो या फिर जिगजैग स्टिकिंग करो या फिर पेंटागोनल करो, whatever it is, you are supposed to inoculate that onto the isolate onto the sterile HHD agar medium. Incubate at room temperature for 24 to 48 hours in a candle jar and observe for a color of a colonies and medium surrounding the colonies. Okay, so yes, I would like to just get little bit idea regarding the pH range of a bromocresol green, ताकि आगे का आपका आइडिया और क्लियर हो जाएगा। What is the pH range for the bromocresol green? कौन सी pH पे कौन सा वो कलर दिखाता है in general?
So like not sure, but acid, if it is acidic, like it's a acid range pH only in short. But
Yes.
in, like yellow color in like acidic and blue or greenish in little bit basic or towards neutral.
हाँ, येलो इन एसिडिक ऐसे बोला ना, मैंने कुछ क्लियर सुना नहीं।
Yes, yes sir, yellow.
येलो इन
in
एसिडिक एंड देन 6 के थोड़ा सा आसपास आएगा तो ग्रीन टाइप का शेडिंग आता है। उसके ऊपर अगर रहेगा और अल्कलाइन हो गया नियर अबाउट 7 तक, that becomes something as a blue color. Yes, right. Okay, so here we are supposed to get that if organism is able to produce the higher amount of acidity, we are supposed to get the color of medium to be changed something as a yellow. Yellow indicates that the enough and the high amount of acidity is being produced. Okay, so that is the basic change on the basis of which we are supposed to differentiate the isolate into the HHD medium. Yes, so here is the plate. So according or on the basis of the actual isolate, you are supposed to get these different types of growth patterns onto the HHD medium. Okay, प्लेट का इनिशियल कलर यहाँ पे आपको दिख रहा है, ब्लूइश कलर्ड है. ओके, कॉलोनी का कलर भी यहाँ पे आपको दिख रहा है. So I think you can interpret now from your end as these diagrams or these pictures are something as a highly expressive for their meanings. Okay, कलर भी आपको आई थिंक दिख रहा है. पिक्चर मैंने जानबूझ के थोड़ा सा झूम करके रखा है यहाँ पे ताकि आपको क्लियर दिखेगा वहां पे. यस, कैन यू जस्ट से क्या हुआ रहेगा. अभी प्रिंसिपल पूरा डिस्कस हो चुका है, ब्रोमोक्रिस्टल का पीएच रेंज भी डिस्कस हो चुका है. सो नाउ यू कैन जस्ट इंटरप्रेट दीज टू ऑब्जर्वेशंस ए एंड बी, बट प्लीज गो सेपरेटली. फर्स्ट ए के लिए कोई बोलो, उसके बाद बी के लिए बोल सकते हो, और उसके बाद रिजल्ट भी आप बोल सकते हो. नो इश्यू. यस, एनीवन ऑफ यू जस्ट ट्राई.
Sir, in A there is like yellow coloration visible in the colony, like little bit of yellow.
Yes.
So acid production is possible. So as compared to B, the A1 looks more like yellow. So it might be a homo fermenter type.
Yes, yes. Okay. So yes, that is correct. So in A side picture, you can see that colonies are green in color and the media surrounding this colony is a yellowish one, which indicates these colonies were able to produce the higher amount of acidity, and that's why the medium color has been changed from the blue to the yellow, which indicates these are the homofermenters. So homofermenters colony are something bluish green in color with the surrounding medium having color change from blue to yellow. Okay, these are the homofermenters. And B is in contrast to A is something different. colony color भी अलग है, मीडिया का कलर भी थोड़ा सा अलग ही है, और अनइनोकुलेटेड जो भी पार्ट है वहां पे आपको एक्चुअल मीडिया का कलर भी दिख रहा है. सो यस, कैन एनीवन इंटरप्रेट फॉर बी पार्ट? यस, just consider that these two plates have been incubated for the same period of time under the somewhat identical condition. Okay, just consider that. Yes, anyone please interpret for B?
So in this plate, like there is a little very little color change. So
Okay.
that might be due to like acid is product produced, but not the acid are not the only source, only product which has been produced. So along with that, many other might be produced. So due to which the acidity is less in this. So it might be a heterogon.
Okay, okay. Colony color be just a minute. I think okay. So colonies are something of white or white in color, and there is no that much drastic change in the color of a medium, or there is no any such distinct type of yellowness into the medium, which indicates these are heterofermenters because they have produced the acidity that is relatively less as compared to the homofermenters. Okay. So these are the colonies of heterofermenters, and these are the colonies of homofermenters. Okay. One more thing that I think I have just discussed in a brief, that as we are providing the fructose over here, medium का composition यहाँ पे. So fructose is getting we can say channeled into the respective pathway. Fructose का वो अपने अपने pathway में channeling कर सकते हैं, अपने अपने pathway में divert कर सकते हैं. But some of the part of a fructose provided by the HSD medium is also getting converted into the mannitol. Okay, and that's why there is a overall less amount of acidity is being produced क्योंकि lactic acid उससे नहीं बनेगा. Fructose, some of the molecules of fructose are also getting converted into the mannitol which is getting secreted out of the cell. Okay, fructose यहाँ पे है, तो यहाँ पे अगर आप fructose consider कर लो, fructose में से कुछ भी होके वो lactic acid ही बनेगा आगे जाके. ओके, ग्लाइकोलिसिस वो थोड़ा सा मतलब जो भी fructose यहाँ पे सप्लाई किया रहेगा वो चैनलिंग हो जाएगा into the ग्लाइकोलिसिस, उसके बाद आगे जाके उसका lactic acid बनने वाला है अगर वो होमोफर्मेंटर से यहाँ की कंडीशन के हिसाब से. अगर पूरा का पूरा फ्रुक्टोज वहां का अगर लैक्टिक एसिड में ही बन रहा है, कन्वर्ट हो रहा है, ऑब्वियसली यहाँ पे बहुत ज्यादा एसिड बनने वाले हैं क्योंकि हर एक फ्रुक्टोज एक मॉलिक्यूल से वहां पे 2 लैक्टिक एसिड मॉलिक्यूल्स बनने वाले हैं, एसिड उतना वहां पे बनने वाला है. यहाँ पे फ्रुक्टोज के लिए अलग अलग फेट्स हैं. एक तो हमने अभी डिस्कस किया कि एक उसका लैक्टिक एसिड बन सकता है, दूसरी साइड में उसका इथेनॉल एसिडिक एसिड जो कुछ है वो बन सकता है, और तीसरा यहाँ पे है कि हेटेरोफर्मेंटर्स आर आल्सो कैपेबल ऑफ कन्वर्टिंग द फ्रुक्टोज to the mannitol by making use of an enzyme that is the mannitol dehydrogenase. So यहाँ पे फ्रुक्टोज का बहुत ज्यादा शेयरिंग हो रहा है, तो ऑब्वियसली लैक्टिक एसिड जो भी बनेगा उसका ओवरऑल एक्सटेंट it's supposed to be less as compared to this. Okay, and because of which we can get the drastic change as far as the colony appearance or media appearance is concerned for these two separate groups of lactic acid bacteria is concerned. Okay, and here we can make the interpretation and the results. Okay, so is this clear to you all so far? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, do you have any doubt, query? Yes, please you can put in a chat box also, and you can ask it verbally also by unmuting yourself. And yes, before doubt and queries, I would like to ask Sachin sir if he wants to add some of the points over here. Yes, sir.
No, I would just suggest the students that please take a screenshot of this because it's very important for you to know how the colonies appear on this media. Okay, because normally we see students are always confused with the appearance and they just jumble up the observations. So please do take a screenshot and note it in words in your notebook as to how it will appear on the media in both the cases. That's very important.
Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Record down this observation in your raw data book, and just give me 1 minute. I will be just labeling them in that question mark. Okay? Question mark मैंने जानबूझ के यहाँ पे रखा था ताकि आपको वहाँ पे बोलना रहेगा इसके लिए. ओके, क्वेश्चन मार्क हटा के मैं यहाँ पे क्लियर कर देता हूँ एटलीस्ट फॉर द रिजल्ट पार्ट. ओके, जस्ट गिव मी 1 मिनट. मैंने वो टास्क आपके लिए रखा था उसके लिए मैंने वहाँ पे क्वेश्चन मार्क डाला था. जस्ट मिनट, इसे स्टॉप करिए. Just a minute. Sorry. I think ये आपके लिए विजिबल अभी नहीं रहेगा. Okay, I will be doing renaming later on. Right now, we just observe this carefully and note down the observations in your pro data book. Okay. मैंने क्वेश्चन मार्क डाला है वहां पे मैं एडिट करके आपके साथ शेयर करूंगा, लेकिन उसके पहले आपको ऑब्जर्वेशन के लिए यहाँ पे मैंने रखा है. ओके, एंड जस्ट गिव मी 5 minutes. I will be coming back. Okay, just 5 minutes. Till that you can record down your observations at your end. Okay, thank you. Yes, are you all done for recording of the observations and result? Yes or no? फिलहाल A was a homofermenter and B was a heterofermenter, ऐसे नहीं लिखना. जहां पे आपने ऑब्जर्वेशन रिस्पेक्टिव लिखा है ना उसकी साइड में लिखना. ओके, क्योंकि A B नॉट नेसेसरी कि आपको जब भी और कहीं जगह पे मिलेगा वहां पे A एंड B ही रहेगा. ओके, क्योंकि आपके पास डायरेक्ट रिकॉर्ड नहीं है, आप रो डेटा बुक में लिख रहे हो. जहां पे भी वर्बल आपने वो लिखा रहेगा ऑब्जर्वेशन उसी के सामने लिखो होमोफॉर्मेटर्स. A एंड B फिलहाल रिजल्ट के लिए इग्नोर कर दो. ओके, एम आई ऑडिबल? यस और नो?
Yes, sir.
ओके,
Yes, sir.
ओके. So yes, are you all done? Yes or no? Okay, yes, I can see in the chat box. Done. Okay. So can I stop presenting this PowerPoint? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So if all are done, please allow me to stop down the sharing screen because we have one more practical to be discussed. Okay. Yes, done, right? Observation record करके हो गया? Yes or
Yes,
no?
sir.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Oh, yes. Okay. So after this not brief break, yes, Sachin sir, can we start with the next practical, or do we need a break over here?
No, I think we can start because we can give them a break before their internal
Yes,
test.
yes. Right, as we discussed, right? Okay. So yes, before sharing the screen from my end, I would like to just memorize yourself that at what time you have actually seen something as a nature is glowing. I think you might have got the idea by that list of a practical plan and these words. Have you any time seen the nature is glowing naturally? Naturally in the sense lighting हो रहा है या फिर वो nature नहीं, अपना earth वाला nature. Okay. Just try to recall that whenever during that journey from your we can say the Mumbai to home place or whatever it is, whenever you are wondering, have you ever seen the nature is glowing? Bioluminescence I'm talking about. Yes or no? हार्डली एक आध दो रहेंगे जिन्होंने देखा नहीं रहेगा, राइट? बहुत हैं. Yes, is there anyone in our class who has not yet seen the bioluminescence? Is there anyone, 2, 3, 4, whatever it is? सभी ने देखा है? That's good. अरे मीटिंग ही छोड़ दिया नहीं.
Yes, sir.
Sir, देखा.
सभी ने देखा रहेगा. Yes, I'm sure about that. Okay. So yes, bioluminescence is one of the common type of, not that much common, but it is easy to observe whenever we have the perfect time, mainly before the monsoon. Obviously, some of the bioluminescence events can be seen throughout the years, but obviously the change is that we need to go for the different places where there is a high probability to get the bioluminescence to occurring and can be observable by us. And obviously, most of the bioluminescence is, we can say, dominant into the marine habitats. That is something as not possible for us to observe into the marine habitats, mainly into the deep sea. Okay, लेकिन कभी कभी अगर पिक्चर आता है या फिर किसी न्यूज में या फिर मीडिया में दिखाते हैं कि पूरा का पूरा वहाँ पे सी शोर जो भी लो टाइड्स रहेंगे हाई टाइड्स जो भी रहेंगे पूरा का पूरा साइलेंट टाइम पे वहाँ पे ग्लो करते हैं. ओके, so these are the different types of events where we are actually observing the bioluminescence. Okay, and this is the practical, not the bioluminescence, that is the part of our practical, but we are supposed to study one of the other aspect, isolation of a bacteria, bioluminescent bacteria from the different types of sources. Okay, that is the practical, but obviously bioluminescence is at our center. So just let me share the screen first. Presentation. Just one minute. Okay, can you see the presentation? Yes or no? It will be visible. Just a minute, it is getting loaded. Yes, can you see it now?
No. Yes, sir.
Okay. Is it visible now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay. So yes, one another practical from the paper 3, that is biochemistry. So I would expect that Sachin sir will be pitching in between and making more clear about the biochemical aspect of the bioluminescence. Okay, I will be just trying to cover the practical aspects and some of the basic aspects as per the technique and the different types of ecological aspects are concerned. But whenever there is something more biochemistry to be explained, I will be requesting Sachin sir to pitching in between. Okay, yes sir.
Sure.
Yes sir, thank you sir, thank you. Okay, so practical थोड़ा सा मैंने टाइटल अलग से रखा है, bioluminescence when the nature glows. Okay, obviously this is the phenomena that we commonly observe, but obviously time and the situation is supposed to be important. Okay, what is bioluminescence? बहुत बार देखा है, कहीं कहीं तो देखा ही रहेगा. So what is bioluminescence? The first question that is supposed to be discussed now. What is bioluminescence? Yes, anyone of you? Be expressive. Whatever you know, whatever you right now know about this, you can share it. Whether it is wrong or right, don't bother about it. Just go ahead. What is bioluminescence?
So like production of light from an organism, like a living thing. That is bioluminescence.
Yes, right. Correctly said. I have just tried to put some of the definitions and some of the text over here that is compiled from the different types of resources. बहुत से रेफरेंस जो कुछ हैं, टेक्स्ट बुक हैं, कुछ रिसर्च पेपर्स हैं, वहाँ से मैंने कंपाइल करने के लिए ट्राई किया. ओके, ताकि एक्स्ट्रा वहाँ पे आएगा. लेकिन एक चीज़ हुई कि मैंने लास्ट में आई थिंक रेफरेंस का लिस्ट नहीं डाला है. जब भी मैं शेयर करूँगा उस टाइम पे रेफरेंस का लिस्ट आएगा, क्योंकि इस प्रैक्टिकल के लिए एटलीस्ट मैंने मैक्सिमम रेफरेंसेस को ट्राई किया है. थी अलग अलग वहाँ पे रेफरेंसेस अपने अपने वहाँ पे डालने के लिए ट्राई किया, रिफर करने के लिए ट्राई किया. सिर्फ लिस्ट नहीं डाला है तो वो मैं लास्ट में एंड करके आपके साथ शेयर करूँगा. ओके, डोंट वरी अबाउट. So yes, bioluminescence is nothing but the emission of a light, visible light, by an living organism as a result of a biochemical reaction. So though it is being produced by the living organism or biological system, obviously something is supposed to be happening inside, that is the biochemical reaction. And the specific biochemical reaction is occurring in that respective organism, living organism, and because of which we are getting the emission of visible light, which can be observed as a bioluminescence. Okay. So yes, this is the range of organism where we can observe, where we can discover the bioluminescence. So basically bioluminescent systems can be nowadays have been discovered in all types of organisms, starting from bacteria, protists, fungi, insect, mollusk, fishes, etc. Okay, I think higher animals में अभी तक नहीं कोई रहेगा. Okay, higher animals in the sense higher primates and higher animals including wild animals and human beings. मतलब obviously वहाँ पे नहीं. Okay, so obviously most of these, we can say, the domains of organisms or groups of organisms are, at least some of the species of these organisms are showing the bioluminescence. Okay, but majority of belonging to the fishes. The fishes are nothing but the major group where we can observe the bioluminescence. And marine के हिसाब से I think वहाँ पे एक थोड़ा सा statistic data दिया हुआ था, 1,500 species of these fishes are actually showing the bioluminescence. Majority वहाँ पे species हैं इसके. Okay, तो ये ग्रुप एक ऐसा है जहाँ पे मैक्सिमम बायोलुमिनेसेंस होने का चांस है. Okay, नियर अबाउट 1,500 species बहुत ज़्यादा predominant है, we can say almost dominant. Obviously, some of the bacteria are also possessing the capability to show the bioluminescence. प्रोटीज जो भी डाइनोफ्लेजिलेट आप देखते हो मेनली मराइन ओशन के ऊपर, वहाँ पे आप देखते हो शोर के ऊपर. फंजाई, बहुत से ऐसे ब्रैकेट फंजाई वगैरह है जो बायोलुमिनेसेंस दिखाते हैं. इंसेक्ट, फायरफ्लाई, ग्लोवर्म्स जो भी हैं, मॉल्यूस्क वगैरह हैं, स्नेक्स वगैरह, तो वहाँ पे बायोलुमिनेसेंस ऑब्जर्व हो सकता है. बट मेजॉरिटी बिलोंगिंग टू द marine bacteria and mainly into the fish. Okay. As far as the history is concerned, I think Aristotle was the first to observe the bioluminescence. Aristotle was one of the biologists. Actually वो against biology थे, लेकिन उसके बाद biology के ऊपर वो attract हो गए. उसके बाद उनका पूरा research biology के अंदर गया. That's why he is sometimes also called as the father of biology. And he was the person who was observed the cold light, or we can say the bioluminescence at the first time. And he has named it as a cold light because it was generating so much less amount of heat whenever there is an emission of light. Because as you normally observe, once there is an emission of light, we are supposed to get a high amount of heat generated along with it. Okay, but here near about less than 20% of heat is generated as compared to the overall light intensity. And that's why it was also called as a cold light by the Aristotle. Okay, बायोलॉजिस्ट उन्होंने देखा था कि वहाँ पे जो भी माउंटेन्स है उसके कुछ रिप्ड वैली में वहाँ पे कुछ ना कुछ वहाँ पे नाइट के टाइम पे ग्लो हो रहा था. So that was nothing but the bioluminescence, and that was named as a cold light by the Aristotle. So Martinus Beijerinck was the first scientist who was able to cultivate the bioluminescent bacteria into the laboratory. कुछ कल्चर्स उन्होंने प्रिजर्व करके रखे थे जो भी रिसेंट टाइम में आई थिंक रिवाइव भी किए गए थे बाय द सो मेनी एफर्ट्स. And these are named as something as a Photobacterium species का नाम नहीं आ रहा मुझे यार, Splendidum ऐसा कुछ तो नाम है. You can check it from your end. So Martinus Beijerinck उन्होंने कुछ तो पहला एक आइसोलेट किया था बायोलुमिनेसेंट बैक्टीरियम, उसको उन्होंने प्रिजर्व करके रखा था. उसके बाद वो री आइसोलेट किया, रिकवर किया, उसके बाद री आइसोलेट किया और उसका आइडेंटिफिकेशन होगा तो उसको उनको पता चला कि दैट वाज नथिंग बट द Photobacterium splendidum. ओके, उनको नाम दिया गया. So Martinus Beijerinck was the scientist who was firstly able to isolate the bioluminescent bacteria and was also able to preserve into the laboratory. उसके बाद बीच में कुछ हुआ रहेगा तो मे वो लॉस्ट आउट हुआ रहेगा. उसके बाद उनका कल्चर स्टॉक जो भी था वो उन्होंने नए साइंटिस्ट ने वहाँ पे रिकवर आउट किया, उन्होंने वहाँ पे ऑब्जर्व किया. ओके, सो उनका एक्चुअली वर्क कुछ तो जेनेटिक्स के ऊपर चल रहा था, उसके लिए उन्होंने आई थिंक और प्रिजर्व करके रखा था. उनका मेन काम ये नहीं था बायोलुमिनेसेंस, बायोकेमिस्ट्री का नहीं था, उनका कुछ जेनेटिक्स का काम था, उसके ऊपर वो काम कर रहे थे. ओके, and the main enzyme which is responsible for this overall phenomena is called as a luciferase. Bacteria का रहेगा तो bacterial luciferase उसको बोलते हैं. And that enzyme was purified and crystallized by the scientist Raphael Dubois. Okay, luciferase, one of the main and the critical enzyme in the phenomena of the bioluminescence. Okay, so bioluminescence just a minute, I think मैंने एक color picture डाला था, नहीं है, it's okay, आगे वाले slide में रहेगा तो maybe yes it's okay. Reaction का picture I think वहाँ पे मिक्स हुआ है, I will be trying to add it. Okay, so there is a one basic reaction because of which there is a generation of a light by the biological system. One, these are showing the specific type of biochemical reaction occurring into their cytoplasm. Okay, but this can be summarized something as a oxidation. थोड़ा सा spelling वहाँ पे अलग आया, please consider that. Oxidation of a substrate generally called luciferin and the enzyme luciferase. Okay, this is the basic type of requirement which is supposed to be there. Obviously, this is the ATP dependent reaction. Near about 6 molecules of ATP are getting utilized, and then we can get this particular reaction to be occurring in presence of the enzyme luciferase and the substrate luciferin. It is going into the excited state, and as a normal phenomena, after getting into the excited state, it is supposed to be coming to the ground state. And while coming into the ground state, it is supposed to emit out the energy which have been absorbed for the excitation. And that energy it getting released out in the form of light, that is the visible light, photons, and that's why we can get the bioluminescence. Okay, so whatever energy that has been absorbed to reach up to the excitation state, after coming or while coming to the ground state, that energy is getting released out in the form of the photons, and that is nothing but the bioluminescence what we observe. Okay, obviously this reaction is something as a generalized one, but obviously each and every bioluminescent reaction in different types of biological system is a different. अलग अलग ऑर्गेनिज्म में अलग अलग टाइप का रिएक्शन हो सकता है, किसी में सबस्ट्रेट अलग रह सकता है, एंजाइम का ओवरऑल कंपोजिशन अलग रह सकता है, लगने वाले कोफैक्टर्स रहेंगे वो अलग रह सकते हैं, बीच में के इंटरमीडिएट्स भी अलग अलग टाइप के रह सकते हैं, बट ओवरऑल रिएक्शन दैट इज रिस्पांसिबल फॉर द बायोलुमिनेसेंस can be described something like this. Okay, so it is a luciferase catalyzed production of an excited intermediate that is obtained from the oxygen and the luciferin that emits the light when returning to its ground state. So this can be something as a generalized biochemical reaction which is generating the bioluminescence. Okay, basic requirement यहाँ पे क्या है, luciferase enzyme चाहिए, बैक्टीरिया आएगा तो उसको एक अलग से नाम बोलते हैं बैक्टीरियल लुसिफरेज, ऑक्सीजन चाहिए, लुसिफरिन दैट इज द सबस्ट्रेट चाहिए जो एक्साइटेड स्टेट में वहां पे चला जाएगा, and obviously you also require the living organism so that this overall reaction can be occurring. Some of the scientists were also able to carry out this reaction in the in vitro conditions also, where they are maintaining the all favorable condition which is suitable for the luciferase to act on so that they can generate the bioluminescence without the living organisms. Obviously luciferase supposed to be act over there, and that's why luciferase is supposed to be maintain its three-dimensional structure with the all types of basic requirements. अगर कोफैक्टर्स चाहिए, pH अगर डिपेंडेंट रिएक्शन से जो कुछ वहाँ पे रिक्वायरमेंट रहेगा पूरा का पूरा वैसे के वैसे मेंटेन करना पड़ता है, एंड दैट्स व्हाई आई हैव एडेड द बेसिक रिक्वायरमेंट की लिविंग ऑर्गेनिज्म वहाँ पे रहना चाहिए. बहुत से बायोलुमिनेसेंस जो भी बैक्टीरिया हैं वो किसी किसी ऑर्गेनिज्म के सिम्बायोटिक रिलेशनशिप में पाए जाते हैं. ओके, एंड दैट्स व्हाई आई वाज सजेस्टिंग वन मोर हिंट ओवर हियर दैट sometimes the bacteria that has been isolated from the respective symbiotic partner like a squid or a fish may be not showing the bioluminescence into the laboratory, into the pure culture, which is becoming something as an indicator that the respective host was providing naturally something that was required for the production of bioluminescence that is not actually available into the in vitro conditions. Okay, but some organisms are independent for the production of bioluminescence, and that's why these are also able to show the bioluminescence into the in vitro condition into the laboratory also. Okay, लेकिन बहुत से टाइम पे ऐसा हो सकता है मे बी कुछ एनवायरमेंट वो स्ट्रिक्टली नेचुरल सोर्स में उसको मिल रहे थे, मे बी उसके सिम्बायोटिक पार्टनर से मिल रहे थे, वो मे बी हम लैब में उसको प्रोवाइड नहीं कर पा रहे, या फिर कुछ ऑल कंडीशन वहाँ पे हम प्रोवाइड नहीं कर पा रहे. इसके लिए कभी कभी ऐसा हो सकता है कि नेचुरली बायोलुमिनेसेंट ऑर्गेनिज्म लैब के अंदर बायोलुमिनेसेंस नहीं दिखाता, ऐसा भी हो सकता है. डिपेंड्स ऑन टू द ओवरऑल फेवरेबल कंडीशन रिक्वायर्ड फॉर द बायोलुमिनेसेंस टू अकर, क्योंकि बायोलुमिनेसेंस होने के लिए वो पूरा का पूरा बायोकेमिकल रिएक्शन होना वहाँ पे नेसेसरी है. अगर वो रिएक्शन ही वहाँ पे कैरी फॉरवर्ड नहीं हो रहा है, या फिर लुसिफरेज एंजाइम भी वहाँ पे अगर कैटालिसिस नहीं कर पा रहा है, तो ये वहाँ पे बायोलुमिनेसेंस, ये बायोकेमिकल रिएक्शन वहाँ पे हो नहीं पाएगा और वहाँ पे आपको बायोलुमिनेसेंस ऑब्जर्व नहीं हो पाएगा. डिपेंड्स. ओके, so simply saying bioluminescence is something as an art, and we can say the difficult task, but we can observe in a laboratory once we provide the all suitable conditions and everything what is required over there. Okay. Yes, I was just talking about this picture. एक प्रिंसिपल का पिक्चर आई थिंक आगे रहेगा, देख लेंगे वो. ओके, सो आई हैव जस्ट ट्राइड टू पुट दिस पिक्चर. इट इज फ्रॉम वन ऑफ द बुक का नाम मैंने यहाँ पे, बुक का नाम आई थिंक मैंने डाला नहीं यहाँ पे. ओके, एक बुक का ये मेन पिक्चर है, उस बुक का नाम आई थिंक प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ बायोलुमिनेसेंट सिस्टम ऐसा कुछ तो है. रेफरेंसेस में आई थिंक मैंने डाला है, वहाँ पे देख लेंगे. ओके, उस बुक के अंदर जो कुछ इन्फॉर्मेशन है वो पूरा डाइवर्सिटी ऑफ द बायोलुमिनेसेंट ऑर्गेनिज्म इंक्लूडिंग बैक्टीरिया टिल द फिश. ओके, सब वहाँ पे दिया हुआ है. स्क्विड रहेंगे, इंसेक्ट रहेंगे, सभी वहाँ पे दिया हुआ है. बट दिस इज समथिंग कॉल्ड एज अ बायोलुमिनेसेंट ट्री ऑफ ऑर्गेनिजम्स. बायोलुमिनेसेंट बिकॉज दीज ऑल ऑर्गेनिजम्स आर बायोलुमिनेसेंट एंड उनका वहाँ पे फाइलोजेनेटिक रिलेशनशिप दिखाया हुआ है. ओके, बाइफर्केशन यहाँ पे आपको डॉटेड लाइन में दिख रहा है, और कलर कोडिंग भी अच्छे से किया है क्योंकि वही कलर में वो बायोलुमिनेसेंस दिखाते हैं. ओके, कलर वेरिएशन आप देख सकते हो, कहीं वहाँ पे आपको लाइट ब्लू या फिर स्काई ब्लू, कहीं पे पर्पल टाइप का दिख रहा है, कहीं पे साइनो कलर, कहीं पे थोड़ा सा येलोइश टिन दिख रहा है. सो डिपेंडिंग ऑन टू द एक्चुअल ऑर्गेनिज्म दीज आर कैपेबल ऑफ प्रोड्यूसिंग द डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ कलर्स. ओके, सो बायोलुमिनेसेंस वहाँ पे अलग अलग वहाँ पे वो दिखा सकते हैं. सो दिस इज समथिंग कॉल्ड एज अ बायोलुमिनेसेंट ट्री ऑफ अ लाइफ और बायोलुमिनेसेंट ट्री ऑफ ऑर्गेनिजम्स. ओके, so do not there is no need such to go that much deep, but it is something as a collection of different types of organism के नाम भी वहाँ पे लिखे हैं लेकिन बहुत ब्लर हैं, आपको आई थिंक दिख नहीं पाएंगे. जूम करके आप आपके एंड पे देख सकते हो whenever I will be sharing this presentation. Okay, just allow me to skip it down. Yes, this is I wanted something to be added over here. So जो भी वहाँ पे आपको बायोलुमिनेसेंस दिख रहा है उसका अलग अलग कलर रहता है. कलर के हिसाब से उसका कुछ तो कोरिलेशन वहाँ पे ऑब्टेन हो चुका है, इस्टेब्लिश हो चुका है. टेरेस्ट्रियल बायोलुमिनेसेंट इज नॉर्मली समथिंग लाइक ग्रीनिश और साइनो कलर. ओके, जो भी टेरेस्ट्रियल जो भी ऑर्गेनिज्म रहेंगे, जो भी वो वहाँ पे बायोलुमिनेसेंस दिखाते हैं इंक्लूडिंग द फायरफ्लाई और द जुगनू जो आप बोलते हो. ओके, ग्लोइंग वर्म्स रहेंगे, फायरफ्लाई जो भी रहेंगे, उनका जो भी लाइट रहता है बायोलुमिनेसेंस का वो नॉर्मली इस कलर का रहता है. टेरेस्ट्रियल टाइप में तो ऑब्वियसली इस कलर का रहता है. थोड़ा बहुत तो वहाँ पे वेरिएशन होना ऑब्वियस है, यहाँ पे दिखाया. ओके, मराइन में जैसे आप जाओगे शैलो वाटर में समथिंग बिकमिंग लाइट ब्लू कलर, डीप सी में जाओगे तो थोड़ा सा और पर्पलिश या फिर क्या डार्क ब्लू हो सकता है, और पर्पलिश हो सकता है अगर आप बेंथिक रीजन में रहोगे तो. ओके, थोड़ा सा ऊपर डीप सी से थोड़ा सा ऊपर. मे बी बिकॉज ऑफ देयर एक्चुअल रिक्वायरमेंट बायोलुमिनेसेंस, जहाँ पे जो कलर उनके कुछ जिस किसी ऑब्जेक्टिव के लिए उनको प्रोड्यूस करना रहेगा बायोलुमिनेसेंस का कलर, उसके हिसाब से वो प्रोड्यूस करते होंगे। टेरेस्ट्रियल ग्रीन है क्योंकि मोस्ट ऑफ दी ऑर्गेनिज्म विच आर बायोलुमिनेसेंट आर फाउंड ऑन टू द ट्रीज। ट्रीज ग्रीन है तो वहाँ पे मे बी उनको कुछ छुपने के लिए काम में आते होंगे, कुछ अलग ऑब्जेक्टिव की वजह से वहाँ पे काम में आते होंगे। सो उनके रिक्वायरमेंट के हिसाब से बायोलुमिनेसेंस अपने आप वहाँ पे वो प्रोड्यूस नहीं कर रहे हैं, बिकॉज इट इज यूटिलाइजिंग और कंज्यूमिंग नियर अबाउट 6 एटीपी मॉलिक्यूल्स, बहुत ज्यादा एनर्जी एक्सपेंसिव है। तो मे बी वो अपने आप तो वहाँ पे बिना काम का प्रोड्यूस नहीं करेंगे, हर एक का कुछ ना कुछ वहाँ पे अपना अपना ऑब्जेक्टिव पर्पज रहेगा। वो भी पर्पज वेल डायरेक्टर ऑब्वियसली रहेगा ही, तो उसके हिसाब से उनका ये अलग अलग वेवलेंथ का वहाँ पे वो बायोलुमिनेसेंस जनरेट करते हैं, लाइट ऑफ बायोलुमिनेसेंस जनरेट करते हैं। ओके, दिस इज समथिंग एज अ कोरिलेशन बिटवीन द वेवलेंथ ऑफ बायोलुमिनेसेंस प्रोड्यूस एंड द रिस्पेक्टिव हैबिटेट। ओके, इसमें अलग अलग ऑर्गेनिज्म आ सकते हैं। मराइन में अगर देखें तो स्क्वीड आ सकता है, बैक्टीरिया आ सकते हैं, फिश आ सकते हैं, बाकी ऑर्गेनिज्म भी आ सकते हैं, डिपेंड्स। टेरेस्ट्रियल में इंसेक्ट में आते हैं, कुछ अलग अलग मोलस्क भी आ सकते हैं। ओके, I think time will not allow to go that much deep for the purposes of bioluminescence, but I would like to expect some of the explanation or we can say information from your end for these different purposes of a bioluminescence. बैक्टीरिया नहीं मत सिलेक्ट करो, बाकी जनरल ऑर्गेनिज्म भी आप सिलेक्ट कर सकते हो, नो इश्यू। ओके, डिपेंड्स, कूलिंग ऑफ फिश, लुमिनस, लूअर, फीडिंग। आपको अगर कुछ यहाँ पे ऐड करना है, आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग दैट मच डिटेल, बट आई एम एक्सपेक्टिंग फ्रॉम योर एंड। आपने बहुत से टाइम पे देखा होगा नेट जियो पे, एनिमल प्लेनेट पे और किसी चैनल के ऊपर, या फिर स्टडी भी क्या रहेगा, रीड क्या रहेगा, तो यू कैन शेयर इट ओवर हियर। ओके, यस प्लीज गो अहेड। यस प्लीज क्विक।
Sir, many times animals show like bright colors to like defend themselves from the predators. So like bioluminescence
Yes,
can be also used for that purpose.
yes. So sudden, if there is a sudden glow or something as a light coming out suddenly from a given source, obviously predators are supposed to get scared of and these are supposed to run away, and that's why there is a defense mechanism by that producing organism. That can be the way स्कूलिंग ऑफ फिश वहाँ पे रहता है, बहुत ग्रुप में वो एक साथ रहते हैं, तो इकट्ठा नाइट में अगर रहेंगे, उनका मेजोरिटी वहाँ पे ग्रुप में रहते हैं, कोई कोई फिश सार्डिन वगैरह रहते हैं उनके लिए, तो अपने आप को वहाँ पे कम्युनिकेट करने के लिए या फिर उनका ग्रुप बड़ा दिखाने के लिए, हर एक को वहाँ पे फिश अगर वहाँ पे बायोलुमिनेसेंस दिखाए तो बहुत बड़ा कुछ तो चीज दिखेगा, मे भी वहाँ पे वो प्रेडेटर आने के लिए ट्राई नहीं करेगा या फिर अट्रैक्ट नहीं हो पाएगा। By considering or assuming that something is big over there that can be not a food part of mine, ऐसा करके कोई प्रेडेटर वहाँ से बाहर दूसरी एरिया में जा सकता है, डिपेंड्स। लुमिनस लूर फॉर एग्जांपल, वी कैन टेक एग्जांपल ऑफ दैट, क्या था, रैंगलर फिश, वहाँ पे एक थोड़ा सा लाइट ऑर्गन रहता है उसके आगे, वहाँ पे ग्लो करता है, उसके पास कोई अगर और कोई ऑर्गेनिज्म छोटा आता है तो उसको खाने के लिए, तब तक वो बड़ा वाला फिश उसको खा लेता है। ओके, हर एक को मैं डिटेल में एक्सप्लेन नहीं कर पाऊंगा, आई एम जस्ट टेकिंग समथिंग एज ए ब्रीफ। फीडिंग के लिए रहता है जो भी बॉबटेल स्क्वीड रहता है, बहुत कॉमन है, फोटोबैक्टीरियम वाला। ओके, सो वहाँ पे जो भी बॉबटेल स्क्वीड है वहाँ पे वो लाइट ऑर्गन रहता है, वहाँ पे माउथ के पास ग्लो करता है, वो बैक्टीरिया एक्चुअली ग्लो करते हैं, वहाँ पे कोई और अगर छोटा पीस आता है तो उसके ऊपर वो फीडिंग करता है स्क्वीड। ओके, कम्युनिकेशन इन डार्क मेनली फॉर द इंसेक्ट, जो भी जुगनू रहते हैं, फायरफ्लाई, उनके लिए रहता है। mating purpose to attract the male or female, accordingly they are supposed to produce the bioluminescence so that there is an attraction of a mating. Camouflage, just to hide themselves from the surrounding predators, that is common in the marine waters whenever there is light coming in a daytime में अगर लाइट अच्छे से आ रहा है तो जो भी बड़े मछली रहते हैं जैसे शार्क वगैरह रहेगा तो उनको नीचे से वो बहुत डीप सी में वहाँ पे ट्रैवल करते हैं, वहाँ पे वो स्विमिंग करते हैं, उनके थोड़ा सा ऊपर अगर कोई फिश वगैरह है और उसके ऊपर अगर लाइट है तो उनकी शैडो उनके ऊपर गिरती है, उनको पता चलता है कि हमारे थोड़े से ही ऊपर वहाँ पे कुछ ना कुछ छोटे से टाइप का फिश है, उसको हम एज अ फूड करके यूज कर सकते हैं। लेकिन जो अगर फिश उसके पास अगर बायोलुमिनेसेंस रहेगा तो ऊपर की जैसे लाइट आ रही है ना, उसकी सिमिलर लाइट वहाँ पे वो जनरेट करता है, तो ऊपर से आई हुई लाइट उसको जो भी नीचे शार्क रहेगा उसको वैसे के वैसे पहुंचती है, जहां पे शैडो आना चाहिए वहां से भी उसको लाइट आती है, जनरेटेड बाय दैट बायोलुमिनेसेंस प्रोड्यूस्ड बाय दैट पर्टिकुलर फिश जो अभी फूड होने को ही था। तो उसको शार्क को लगता है कि ऊपर कोई फिश है नहीं, पूरा का पूरा सनलाइट डायरेक्ट आ रहा है विदाउट शैडो, मतलब ऊपर कुछ भी नहीं है, और वहां से वो निकल जाता है। So that type of camouflage can be also used as one of the defense mechanism. Okay, so simply saying bioluminescence can be have the variety of purposes depending on to the producing organism, depending on to the actual habitat, and depending on to the type of interaction, symbiotic or whatever it is, we can have the different types of purposes. कई symbiotic होता है कि जो ऑर्गेनिज्म बैक्टीरिया रहते हैं वो वहाँ पे लाइट जनरेट करके किसी फीड को वहाँ पे अट्रैक्ट करवाते हैं, और बदले में उन बायोलुमिनेसेंट ऑर्गेनिज्म को वहाँ पे हैबिटेट मिलता है रहने के लिए उस ऑर्गेनिज्म के ऊपर जो उनका होस्ट है, वहाँ पे उनको कुछ फूड भी मिलता है जो वहाँ से एज अ ट्रेसेस वहाँ पे अवेलेबल रहेगा, रहने को जगह मिलती है और एक प्रोटेक्टेड एनवायरमेंट मिलता है. ओके, so we cannot actually define actual, we can say we cannot restrict the purposes of bioluminescence. बहुत से वहाँ पे अलग अलग purposes हैं of a natural bioluminescence that occurs into the nature. Okay, right now we are supposed to stick to the bacterial bioluminescence only. So yes, bioluminescent bacteria के कुछ example अगर आपको याद हैं तो you can share with us. Yes, please.
Sir, I have a doubt. So, what is the purpose of the bioluminescent bacteria in the shallow water?
Sorry.
Sir, hello.
Yes, yes, go ahead. Yes, yes, you are audible.
Bioluminescent bacteria on shallow water. What is their purpose? Since they are free floating, right? They don't have any relationship with any organism.
Yes, yes, yes. Please continue. Done.
Yes, sir.
Yes, so quorum sensing is one of the phenomena where they actually require, if they are able to carry out the bioluminescence. Okay, so quorum sensing is one of the phenomena. I think quorum sensing आपका 5 हुआ है, right? Quorum sensing, once the population has been reached to the definite density, कुछ मॉलिक्यूल्स वो जनरेट करते हैं, लैक्टोन एंड ऑल, ऐसा कुछ तो था, राइट? डू यू रिमेंबर दैट ऑल? F5 में था कि नहीं? I think
Yes,
था,
sir. We have
right?
studied.
Yes, yes. So we cannot directly say that whatever bioluminescence we observe onto the shallow waters in a ocean or whatever the sea, whatever it is. Okay, वहाँ पे ऑर्गेनिज्म सच्ची में जो है वो बैक्टीरिया है या फिर डिनोफ्लैजिलेट है या फिर और कोई है. अगर वो बैक्टीरियल रहेंगे तो उनमें मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम जो भी बायोलुमिनेसेंस ऑब्जर्व करते हैं, अगर वो फ्री फ्लोइंग रहेगा वहाँ पे तो कम्युनिकेशन कैन बी वन ऑफ द वे, communication can be the one of the event where they require the bioluminescence. Apart from that, they can be having something as a defensive mechanism also. Shallow water है तो वहाँ पे मे भी चांसेस है कि वहाँ पे जो प्रोटोजोआ समथिंग लाइक क्या बोल सकते हैं, शैलो वाटर में प्रीडोमिनेंट है, तो उनसे बचने के लिए मे भी उनको अलग से मैकेनिज्म वहाँ पे कुछ काम में आता होगा टू रन अवे द प्रेडेटर एंड ऑल. सो राइट नाउ वी कैन नॉट डायरेक्टली से दैट व्हाट टाइप ऑफ पर्पस विल बी देयर. Two we have just said that one is for defense, another can be for the communication purpose. कि शैलो वाटर है वहाँ पे अभी सरफेस के ऊपर आ चुके हैं, एक लिमिट तो आ चुका है. न्यूट्रिशन अगर वहाँ पे लिमिटेड रहेंगे, बहुत ज्यादा वहाँ पे सरफेस के ऊपर सभी फ्लोट आउट होके हो चुके हैं, डेंसिटी अभी सफिशिएंट हो चुका है, तो उनको अभी सिग्नल सेंड करना है कि अभी डेंसिटी इनफ है, कोरम पूरा कंप्लीट हो चुका है, नाउ दे नीड टू जस्ट स्टॉप डाउन देयर मल्टीप्लिकेशन, या फिर और कोई उनका कुछ फिजियोलॉजिकल एक्शन रहेगा तो उनके लिए मे भी कम्युनिकेशन रिक्वायर्ड रहेगा. तो अलग अलग ऑटो इंड्यूसर्स या फिर अलग अलग मॉलिक्यूलर सिग्नल करके वो वहाँ पे कम्युनिकेशन कर सकते हैं. बायोलुमिनेसेंस कैन बी वन ऑफ देम. ओके, yes Jin sir, if you want to add, obviously you can add it. You are welcome, sir.
Yeah, I think it's very important for you guys to know that, bioluminescence, people have been considering it as a natural phenomena, understanding the biochemistry of it, but there are several applications also related to bioluminescence, wherein these days people have started doing luminometric assays to check for presence of microorganisms, especially in these industries wherein they have huge machines and equipments, especially food and pharma industries, wherein cleaning may not be possible क्योंकि equipment का structure ही ऐसा है कि कोई वहां तक पहुंच के cleaning नहीं कर सकता. So इन instruments के cleaning के लिए cleaning in place CIP नाम का एक process होता है, जो आप शायद अगर आपने future में industrial पढ़ा in detail in masters, you will understand what the detailed procedure of CIP is, that is cleaning in place. So still, you can't be sure that it has been cleaned completely and there are no biofilms and no microorganisms present there. So people make use of luminescent substrates and the enzyme, which is luciferase, to check if there are microorganisms present there. So bioluminescence can be used as one of the indicators to check if organisms are present over there. Okay, so obviously you will have to spike the system to check if complete cleaning has been done effectively or not. But there are several applications that you will see, even wherein people are using fluorochromes. They're replacing fluorochromes with luminescence as one of the detecting agents. But yes, let me tell you that jitna easy ye dikhta hai, even Nitin sir will tell you this, that maintaining the luminescent bacteria in the lab is a clear headache, because you will see that as you subculture them, their luminescence is lost. And even you will see that if they give out luminescence, it eventually fades. So, the requirements that they need to give out effective luminescence is something which is very, very difficult to imitate in the lab. So if you have book Wilson and Walker e-copy with you, please open that and check for luminescence based assays that are performed, which will tell you the applications which are there. You'll also be learning this in unit 2, which Niranjan sir will deal with in the unit of electron transport chain. You will see how luminescence can be used in different chemical assays today in both pharma as well as food industries.
Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for that insight in the applications. So in extension of that, I would like to just share one more assay in brief. फिश जो भी आते हैं मार्केट में, तो उनका फ्रेशनेस कितना है उसके लिए भी लुसिफेरेज बेस एक ऐसे करते हैं, फोटोमेट्रिक ऐसे. ओके, they are actually allowing that sample to react with the luciferase just said and that substrate, and depending on to the freshness एटीपी मॉलिक्यूल्स वहां पे जितने रहेंगे उसके हिसाब से वहां पे जनरेशन होता है लाइट का, बायोलुमिनेसेंस का. So, जितना फ्रेश वहां पे नया रहेगा उतना एटीपी मॉलिक्यूल्स वहां पे ज्यादा रहेंगे और उतना वहां पे आपको लुसिफेरेज कैटलाइज्ड बायोलुमिनेसेंस जो भी रहेगा वो ज्यादा वहां पे आ जाएगा. ओके, जैसे सर ने बोला उसी के हिसाब से. सो एटीपी डिपेंडेंट जो भी वहां पे बायो से रहते हैं, एटीपी डिपेंडेंट जो भी ऐसे रहते हैं, वहां पे हम लुसिफेरेज एंजाइम और उसका रिस्पेक्टिव सब्स्टिट्यूट वहां पे यूज कर सकते हैं, बिकॉज बायोलुमिनेसेंस इज अ एटीपी डिपेंडेंट रिएक्शन. एटीपी मॉलिक्यूल्स कहां से सप्लाई हो जाएंगे? फ्रॉम दैट सैंपल. जितना एटीपी मॉलिक्यूल का वहां पे कंटेंट रहेगा उसके हिसाब से वहां पे आपको एक्सटेंट ऑफ बायोलुमिनेसेंस दिख जाएगा. एंड दैट एटीपी extent of ATP molecules is nothing but the measure of the freshness of that fish or any other biological material. Okay, so accordingly they are supposed to correlate. That is something I would like to just said. Okay, that detail में अगर जाना रहेगा सर ने जैसे बोला उसके हिसाब से आप एक्स्ट्रा रीडिंग कर सकते हो. I think time will not allow us to go that much detail, so just excuse me to go next. Just a minute. और जब भी आप कोई और पढ़ते हो अच्छा सा कोई एप्लीकेशन, तो आप कभी भी हमारे प्रैक्टिकल में आपके जब भी प्रैक्टिकल सेशन रहेगा फ्री रहेगा तो आप शेयर कर सकते हो. ओके, नो वन विल प्रिवेंट यू फ्रॉम शेयरिंग दैट. ओके, जस्ट टेल दैट I want to share something regarding this practical. Okay, so simply saying there are different types of purposes, variety of purposes for the bioluminescence naturally in and also in our man-made things. Okay, some of them we have just discussed. Yes, I was expecting the bioluminescent bacteria. Yes, please add some of the examples of a bioluminescent bacteria. I think थोड़ा सा लिस्ट आपने देखा रहेगा, मैं थोड़ा सा गलती से आगे चला गया. Please big peek. We want to complete the isolation part. Yes.
For Alivibrio fishery.
Yes. Anything else? एक आध दो नाम तो मैंने बोले ही थे.
Sir, genera of photobacterium.
Yes, genus. Yes,
Sir,
okay.
Vibrio bacterium genera also.
Yes, yes. Okay. So obviously वहाँ पे जैसे हमने बोला लैक्टिक एसिड बैक्टीरिया में कितना ज़्यादा रिक्लासिफिकेशन रीअरेंजमेंट हो रहा है, सिमिलर यहाँ पे भी रीअरेंजमेंट चल रहा है. प्रीवियसली उसको विब्रियो फिशरी बोल रहे थे, अभी उसको अलिविब्रियो फिशरी बोल रहे हैं, विब्रियो हार्वेई. इसका भी अलग अलग नाम अभी कुछ तो हो रहा है, लेकिन करंटली जो भी मुझे मिला उसके हिसाब से मैंने ऐड किया. I had just tried to put at least 4 examples: Vibrio harvey, L. vibrio fischeri, Photobacterium fusarium, Photorhabdus luminescens. Okay, these are the bioluminescent bacteria which are well established for their identification and the characterization. Okay, नाम आपको अलग अलग मिल सकते हैं लेकिन स्पेसीज नॉर्मली वैसे के वैसे रहता है as per the normal rule of a nomenclature. Okay, so these are the common example of a bioluminescent bacterium. Okay, and this is the biochemistry of the bacterial bioluminescence, something as a generalized one. You are supposed to have the substrate, then we are a requirement of a bacterial luciferase, then these substrates are getting oxidized in presence of the bacterial luciferase. These are getting in excited state, then there is a release of a FNM, that is the oxidized form. There is also a release of the fatty acid, and along with this the energy is getting released out in the form of photons and whatever we observe as a bioluminescence, that is the light having the blue to green color, having wavelength 49 nanometer. Okay, so this can be something the biochemistry of the bacterial luminescence. As far the detailed aspects and the insight of the biochemistry are concerned for the bioluminescence, that will be all covered with the all detailed aspect in your theory, that is the unit 4, I think unit 4 of the bioluminescence. Okay, bioluminescence उसके में एक अलग सा टॉपिक है, वहाँ पे आपको पूरा डिटेल में बोला जाएगा. But this can be something as a generalized reaction. Okay, so main enzyme is the bacterial luciferase, as we have discussed. Luciferase found in a bacteria is commonly called as a bacterioluciferase, just as a distinction. जैसे bacteriochlorophyll अलग से हम define करते हैं. So bacterioluciferase is an enzyme which is catalyzing this particular reaction, then getting the production of a respective oxidized products, and then we are getting the photon release, and that is photon nothing but the bioluminescence, that is the blue-green light. Bacteria are commonly known to produce the such type of a bioluminescence having the blue-green color light. Okay, most of the bacteria. अलग अगर उनका हैबिटेट रहेगा उनके रिक्वायरमेंट के हिसाब से थोड़ा बहुत वेरिएशन आ सकता है, बट मोस्ट ऑफ द बैक्टीरिया आर नोन टू प्रोड्यूस द ब्लू ग्रीन लाइट इन देयर बायोलुमिनेसेंस. Okay, oxygen is also one of the requirement. ATP molecule is also required. So as per the isolation of these bioluminescent bacteria, I am just making something as a specification. Okay, bioluminescent bacteria, we are sticking to the bacteria only. So as far as the isolation of bioluminescent bacteria is concerned in laboratory, we need to take the respective source. So whatever the respective source is there, we are supposed to select that appropriate source. So the fish which is known to produce the bioluminescence, or a squid known to produce the bioluminescence, that is of a bacterial origin, bioluminescence of the bacterial origin, we are supposed to take that as a source. That is supposed to be not washed with the fresh water. Obviously this is supposed to be marine fish or marine squid, because I think it is also one of the fact that no freshwater creature is able to show the bioluminescence nowadays. अभी तक जितना भी है till date, there is no any discovery as such which is telling us that there is any bioluminescent organism has been found, has been discovered into the fresh water. उसका भी एक अलग से कुछ तो strategy उनका रहेगा या फिर कुछ reason रहेगा. You can search it from your end. Okay, I'm just giving one task to you. So fresh water जो भी नॉन फिश है, स्क्विड है, बायोलुमिनेसेंस प्रोड्यूस करने के लिए, जहाँ पे बैक्टीरियल बायोलुमिनेसेंस आता है, ना कि उनका खुद का कोई लाइट ऑर्गन है, these organisms are supposed to be taken as a source. These are supposed to be refrigerated to avoid any drastic change into the physiology of that organism, so that the organisms, the bacteria are remaining live and these are surviving over there. And whatever the source, whatever the main part of that organ, whatever the main part of that particular organism is able to show the bioluminescence, or highly probable the source of the bioluminescent bacteria, that is supposed to be taken. And the scrapping is obviously you are supposed to make use of a different types of metal like devices over here. Scalpel रहेगा या फिर जो कुछ आपके पास रहेगा, scalpel या फिर forceps रहेगा. That is supposed to be alcohol sterilized, and using that you are supposed to make some of the scrapings onto the respective part of that fish or a squid, and you are supposed to make the suspension of it. And sometimes you can directly rub the loop onto the respective part of that fish or squid, and you can directly making use of that loop. You can also directly inoculate onto the agar medium, that is the Photobacterium agar plate. Okay, so different types of media are suggested for the isolation of bioluminescent bacteria. Some of them are listed over here. Basic composition remains near about same. Only change is that some are supplemented with the glycerol as an energy rich source. Some of them are supplied with the respective types of peptones and tryptones, etc. But basically most of them are having the same type of composition, that is the provision of all types of mineral salts which are naturally available into the marine water. वैसे के वैसे एनवायरमेंट वहाँ पे आना चाहिए. एक तो वहाँ पे डायरेक्ट लॉजिक भी है कि सी वाटर न्यूट्रिएंट अगर मीडियम यूज करो, जहाँ पे जो भी वाटर यूज करते हैं वहाँ पे न्यूट्रिएंट अगर बनाने के लिए वो सी वाटर ही लेते हैं, ताकि बाहर से कुछ भी न्यूट्रिएंट आपको डालने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. जो भी नेचुरली सी वाटर के अंदर रहेगा पूरा का पूरा न्यूट्रिएंट वहाँ पे सप्लाई हो जाएगा. And for solidification purpose, because you are doing the isolation, we need to add the agar, nutrient agar. Okay, so that is the basic change. Otherwise, these all different types of media are having the something common, that is the provision of all types of trace mineral salts, mineral elements, which is basically required to grow the organism in laboratory as it was in a natural conditions. Okay, composition I think मैंने next slide पे okay. उसके आगे जाने के पहले एक मैंने whenever I was in a TY at that time, one of the teacher was there as a faculty person, visiting faculty, and he had just suggested me that if you want to observe the bioluminescence directly, you can also take the scrapping from the respective part of the squid or a fish, whatever it is. Prazarani fish बहुत commonly use करते हैं. So you are supposed to make the scrapping. You are supposed to take the scrapping. You are supposed to make the smear directly onto the slide, clean crispy slide, and you can directly observe under the microscope by covering the all parts which are supplying the light to the microscope. ताकि अगर वो ऑर्गेनिज्म वहाँ पे, वो बैक्टीरिया अगर वहाँ पे अवेलेबल है, अभी भी अगर फिश हार्वेस्ट किया है, स्क्विड अगर हार्वेस्ट किया है, they may be directly showing the bioluminescence once we observe that slide with the smear of the respective organism under the microscope by making dark condition, by maintaining the dark condition. Sometime it can be observable. जहाँ भी ऑर्गेनिज्म रहेंगे वहाँ पे आपको ब्लिंकिंग दिखेगा। ऑब्वियसली दिस बैक्टीरियल बायोल्यूमिनेसेंस कैन नॉट बी दैट मच रिदमिक, तो कभी कभी आपको एक ही जगह पे कुछ ऐसा लाइट स्पॉट दिख सकता है, कंटिन्यूसली रहेगा या फिर पूरा का पूरा ग्लो होता रहेगा, ऐसा नॉट नेसेसरी, डिपेंड्स, बिकॉज वी आर ऑब्जर्विंग देम इनटू द लैबोरेटरी कंडीशन। नेचर में जैसे ऑब्जर्व होता है वैसे की वैसे पूरा ऑब्जर्व होना थोड़ा सा डिफिकल्ट है। Then incubate the plates at room temperature overnight. Obviously, you are supposed to need more incubation also, because these organisms you are growing in an environment that is completely different from their natural environment. न्यूट्रिएंट भी नए हैं, बहुत सा एनवायरमेंट वहाँ पे नया सा है, तो मे भी चांस है कि बहुत टाइम ले सकते हैं। जैसे सर ने बोला, इट इज वन ऑफ द most difficult task to cultivate the cultivate the bioluminescent bacterium and also to observe the bioluminescence. Maybe cultivate तो कर पाओगे as a normal bacterium, लेकिन उनका बायोल्यूमिनेसेंस कैपेबिलिटी वहाँ पे मेंटेन रखना थ्रू आउट द स्टोरेज, थ्रू आउट द ट्रांसफर्स, थोड़ा सा डिफिकल्ट टास्क है। ओके, yes, this is the composition. These are the different types of requirements which are supposed to be added over there. You can see that there is a presence of a different types of mineral salts which are possibly supplying the all types of trace metals, different types of components required for the growth of organism as that was naturally growing into the marine water. Yeast extract to supply different types of vitamin B complex, casein, hydrolysate, organic nitrogen, again as a carbon source and all. जो कुछ उसको बेसिकली वहाँ पे चाहिए रहता है वो सब वहाँ पे आपको प्रोवाइड करना रहेगा। ओके, नॉट नेसेसरी दिस मीडियम कैन बी सिलेक्टिव और कैन बी सेड एज अ सुटेबल वन फॉर द कल्टिवेशन ऑफ ऑल टाइप्स ऑफ ल्यूमिनेसेंस बैक्टीरिया। मे बी किसी के लिए और भी सुटेबल रहेगा या फिर ज्यादा परफॉर्मेंस वहाँ पे भी अच्छा आ सकता है। ओके, एंड दैट्स व्हाई वी आर हैविंग नियर अबाउट 3 to 4 एग्जांपल्स ऑफ द medium to be used for the isolation of a bioluminescent bacteria. Okay, once you are done with the incubation for a sufficient period of time, for the sufficient time temperature, examine them in the next day or a day after that to in a dark to observe the luminescence. Okay, प्लेट जो भी रहेगा उसको लेके डार्क रूम जो भी रहेगा फिजिक्स रूम में कॉमनली अवेलेबल रहता है, वहाँ पे जाके आप ऑब्जर्व कर सकते हो, या फिर जहाँ कहीं पॉसिबल रहेगा वहाँ पे मैनेज करके आप डार्क कंडीशन में वहाँ पे ऑब्जर्व कर सकते हो। ओके, gram staining is supposed to be done for a colony which are showing the luminescence. You are supposed to mark them once you observe the bioluminescence. You are supposed to mark them and you are supposed to proceed for the some of the morphological analysis like gram staining and noting down the morphological features and the colony characteristics. Okay, one thing is also suggested that you need to carry out the oxidase test for that particular isolate which is showing the bioluminescence, because Photobacterium and the Vibrio species are known to produce the oxidase enzyme which are oxidase positive. Okay, so this is the something as a post bioluminescence study is supposed to be done for that respective isolate. So that was for isolation of a bioluminescent bacteria from their respective source. Though it looks easy as far as the procedure, media and all is concerned, as Sachin sir said, it is something as one of the highly difficult tasks. Though cultivation may be something as an easy part, but maintaining the bioluminescence property of that bioluminescent organism, said bioluminescent organism in a laboratory condition is something as one of the difficult tasks. Okay, and I just put down one picture over here at the end that is actually showing the bioluminescence observed in the dark on that particular plate. You can see that this is the pure culture and all colonies are showing the bioluminescence of a blue color light. Okay, so yes, that's it. I just try to speed up to give you time for a break before the test. If you have any doubt query, you can add it, or you can ask. If you have any points to be added over, you can obviously share it. And if I have missed something, then yes, Sachin sir, you can also add this in between. Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you, all of you. Yes, any doubt query, or if you have any extra information to be shared over here, you can share. Okay, but obviously that will be time bound. We are just running behind the time. Yes. Am I audible? Yes or no?
Sir, actually, there's a question in the chat box.
Oh, okay. Yeah, can you dictate it for me? Yes,
Sir, Karan is asking, are bioluminescent dinoflagellates harmful for humans?
बायोल्यूमिनेसेंट डायनोफ्लैजेलेट हार्मफुल रहेंगे ऐसे डायरेक्टली नहीं बोल सकते, लेकिन अगर पैथोजेनिक डायनोफ्लैजेलेट रहेगा तो मे भी हो सकता है, बिकॉज सम ऑफ द डायनोफ्लैजेलेट्स आर नोन टू प्रोड्यूस सम ऑफ द टॉक्सिन्स, सैक्सीटॉक्सिन उसको बोलते हैं, और एक 2-3 नाम है उनके याद नहीं मुझे आ रहे हैं। ओके, सो इफ दिस ऑर्गेनिजम्स आर कैपेबल ऑफ प्रोड्यूसिंग सम ऑफ द टॉक्सिन्स, अल्गल ब्लूम आता है, मे बी वो हमारे लिए हार्मफुल अगर कंज्यूम होने के बाद अगर हो सकता है, तो मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम दीज टॉक्सिन्स आर हार्मफुल फॉर मराइन क्रिएचर्स लाइक फिश जो भी रहेंगे, जो भी बाकी मराइन वाटर्स ऑर्गेनिजम्स रहेंगे. So some of the dinoflagellates are known to produce some of the toxins actually they cover the all our surface area and making something as a anoxic condition. अगर लाइट हार्वेस्टिंग अगर कुछ ऑर्गेनिज्म रहेंगे, प्लांट्स वगैरह रहेंगे, लाइट डिपेंडेंट ऑर्गेनिज्म रहेंगे, उनको लाइट भी पहुंचने नहीं देते, ये एक अलग सी चीज हो सकती है अगर अल्गल ब्लूम पूरा अगर वहाँ पे फॉर्म हो गया तो। या फिर कभी कभी क्या होता है अगर बहुत सा वहाँ पे टॉक्सिन प्रोड्यूस करते हैं तो वहाँ पे ये भी चांस है कि टॉक्सिन वहाँ पे जो भी सराउंडिंग ऑर्गेनिज्म रहेंगे उन्होंने अगर कंज्यूम किया तो वहाँ पे वो हार्मफुल हो सकता है। ऑब्वियसली अगर ह्यूमन बीइंग के लिए अगर वो कुछ टॉक्सिक रहेगा, ऐसा कुछ अगर टॉक्सिन रहेगा तो वहाँ पे हो सकता है, डिपेंड्स, बिकॉज डायनोफ्लैजिलेट्स आर आल्सो हैविंग देयर ओन डाइवर्सिटी, दे आर आल्सो नोन टू प्रोड्यूस डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ टॉक्सिन्स ऑफ देयर ओन ओरिजिन्स। देखिए SAXI साक्सीटॉक्सिन, ओके। और भी 2-3 एग्जांपल फिलहाल मुझे याद नहीं आ रहे। सॉरी सॉरी सॉरी। yes, you can read it from your end regarding the उसका एक टर्म भी आता है, क्या नाम आता है मुझे फिलहाल याद नहीं आ रहा है, टॉक्सिक डायनोफ्लैजिलेट, ऐसा कुछ तो सर्च करो आपको उसका पूरा मिल जाएगा। बट नेसेसरीली इट कैन बी नॉट द केस दैट ऑल बायोलुमिनेसेंट डायनोफ्लैजिलेट्स आर हार्मफुल फॉर द ह्यूमंस। अगर इनडायरेक्टली अगर कैसा कुछ हो रहा है तो वी कैन नॉट से, बट डायनोफ्लैजिलेट अगर बायोलुमिनेसेंट है तो उसका कुछ डायरेक्टली हार्म ऐसा कुछ ह्यूमन को नहीं होना है। अगर वो बायोलुमिनेसेंट भी है और कुछ वहाँ पे टॉक्सिक प्रोड्यूस भी कर रहा है, that can be toxic to the surrounding organism if a human being is there consuming that, or any chance ingestion का अगर आ रहा है तो अगर वो हो सकता है, depends, okay, we directly cannot say that डायनोफ्लैजिलेट्स are harmful for the humans। obviously ये यूजफुल है हमारे लिए, जैसे अभी सर ने बोला we can make use of this bioluminescent system for our purpose। कहीं पे रिपोर्टर जिन की तरह उनको यूज कर सकते हैं, जो भी जीन रहेगा उसको, किसी को और किसी ऐसे में यूज कर सकते हैं, अलग अलग पर्पज के लिए यूज कर सकते हैं, ओके, डिपेंड्स, but basically it cannot be the harmful one, simply saying bioluminescent dinoflagellate, okay। anything else, let me check, ये तो पहले के messages, okay, yes, anything else, yes sir, if you want to add anything else you can add, you are welcome। मैं बुक का नाम आपके साथ शेयर करता हूँ तो आपको पता चलेगा कि उसके अंदर आई थिंक मैंने वो बुक डाउनलोड किया, लेकिन फिलहाल आई थिंक इट इज टाइम टू जस्ट स्टॉप डाउन फॉर अ डे, यू आर हैविंग, यस सर, आर यू देयर? Am I audible to you others?
Yes.
Okay. Yes sir, do you want to add anything? You can add it.
No, I think we can give them a
Or is it
10
enough?
minutes or 20 minutes break.
Yes.
We can start with the test.
Yes. Okay, so students, we can go for that break and then we are meeting. उनको क्या instruction देने सर दे सकते हो? I will be just putting that name of the book in the chat box so that they can refer afterwards. Okay.
I think students, the test link is already posted on Classroom, but the link is not open. Obviously, it will be open when we start the test. So at 1:10, we will begin the test. I want all of you to be here itself, but just take a 10 minutes break, relax and come back. You will have 15 minutes to attempt the test. There are 15 questions, 1 mark for each question. So please come here by 1:09 and the link will be activated at 1:10 sharp and it will be open till 1:25. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes sir.
Yes, sir.